2062 Life Crippling Bridge. 2062 Life Crippling Bridge. So this place is the Life Crippling Bridge. Yimo purposely said with surprise. Then he said with regret, although I know there's such bridge here, I've never come here before and have only heard of instant second name. Dao friend Gongyang, can you tell me about this bridge and how to enter the life-crippling forbidden grounds? She looked at Yimo with confusion. She thought about how Yimo said he didn't know where the forbidden grounds were. Now, it didn't seem to be lying. How did he find his way here though? Although it was much later than them, it was still extremely hard. It seems Dao friend Yi really doesn't understand this place. Gongyang laughed. In order to get in the forbidden grounds, you must cross the bridge. The bridge ahead of us is the life-crippling bridge. The river below is the life-crippling river. Yimo looked at the life-crippling bridge. The first time he saw the bridge, it seemed very broad. But hearing Gongyang say he was going to cross the bridge to get to the forbidden grounds, he suddenly found the bridge was very narrow. What was this? Yimo carefully checked the life-crippling bridge with spirit sense. He found the bridge was shrouded in mist and had no barricades nor border. Sometimes, it looked very broad. Sometimes, the life-crippling bridge seems boundless, sometimes it seems to be a narrow passage. The yin kai on there is shocking. Once you go on the bridge, your soul would be drawn. Those weak-minded wouldn't be able to control themselves. If your soul isn't stable on the bridge, then no matter how powerful your god art is, you can only be a headless fly on the bridge and fall down eventually. Gongyang sighed. What happens if you fall into the river? Yimo asked. Just soul annihilation. Another Dao Essence Divine Emperor answered calmly. Yimo realized why this many people didn't cross. They were scared of unable to cross. If you want to cross the bridge, you must learn the yin kai on the bridge and fuse your soul into it. That way, you wouldn't be defenseless when you cross it. Seeing the strange positioned divine emperors, Yimo realized that they were here not to learn god art but to learn the yin kai. He wondered if that Sikong Shan crossed the bridge. Yimo asked again, Dao friend Gongyang, have people ever crossed the bridge? Gongyang fell into silence for a moment and said that I don't know. I've never seen someone come out of the life-crippling forbidden grounds. The life-crippling bridge is boundless. If you fall off immediately, we can see it from here, but if you go deep, neither spirit sense nor the eyes can see. Is there only the possibility to leave if you get to the life-crippling forbidden grounds? Yimo asked. His spirit sense just felt an extremely yin kai on the bridge. He didn't know if he could cross it too. Gongyang said affirmatively, that's right. Only once you cross the bridge and enter the life-crippling forbidden grounds can you find the opportunity for primordial essence as well as the way out. I've been in the God Necropolis domain for all these years and have no other choice, so I want to go try. Yimo looked around and knew that most people here thought the same. However, he didn't know why she was here. She had been in here for this short and didn't even reach Dao Actualization Divine Emperor. Why was she in a rush to leave? He chatted with Gongyang for a bit more and didn't waste more of his time. He found a place to learn the bridge too. Yimo's spirit sense was different. After spending 100 years in the God Necropolis domain, it had reached the 5th level. Spirit will 9 transformations, 5th transformation, realm form. If he was willing, his spirit sense could form a small realm. This realm would be his spirit sense world. Anything that entered this realm would be annihilated by his spirit sense realm. Yimo's spirit sense carefully landed on the bridge, but instantly, it was completely eroded by yin kai. Seeing the other pale faces of the divine emperors, Yimo knew their spirit sense was eroded too. Yimo ate a dual spirit pill and then formed an extremely small spirit sense barrier on the bridge. His spirit sense wasn't eroded this time and instead wrapped a gust of yin kai. An ancient calling sounded from the bottom of Yimo's heart. That calling seemed to have come from hell, making Yimo very shocked. There was even a sliver of horror. It was as though there was a warning that if he didn't kneel down and follow what he was told, he would be annihilated. That calling was for him to go on the bridge and jump off. That way he would get eternal life. Even with Yimo's firm mind, he couldn't resist such warnings and suppressions. Sweat seeped out of his forehead. The next moment, he released a few spirit sense blades and yelled, "Sever!" A few spirit sense blades sliced out. The yin kai in his spirit sense realm was instantly annihilated. Yimo breathed and recovered. He took back his spirit sense and his face was a bit pale. If it wasn't in his spirit sense realm, it would be hard for his spirit sense blades to cut those yin kai. You can check the life-crippling bridge with spirit sense and sense it, but before you get used to it, your spirit sense would be taken away by the yin kai if you go deep. At the same time, your soul would lose control and you would charge onto the bridge. Before you, a Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor came and charged on the bridge as he jumped off. Ji Shi's voice sounded by Yimo's ear. Yimo was shook. He just found that Ji Shi was next to him. If Ji Shi was to ambush him, he would be over. Don't look at me with such expression. No one dares to ambush here. Otherwise, it would cause public outrage and everyone else would attack him. Ji Shi explained. Yimo sound transmissioned Saint Ji Shi, we don't seem to be that good. Do you want to give your gourd to me? If that's the case, I need to thank you. Unexpectedly, Ji Shi wasn't angry and said calmly, I know you have a lot of secret and even killed a gust of yin kai. Yimo was shocked. He did this in his spirit sense realm. How did Ji Shi know? If she knew, did other people know too? Yimo subconsciously looked around. Ji Shi said plainly, don't worry, I have a magic artifact to learn the yin kai of the bridge and my body is extremely yin so I can sense deeper on the bridge. However, I can't go on the bridge. Speaking of this, Ji Shi sound transmissioned, you can form your own spirit sense domain and sever yin kai inside it. It seems you have a way to get on the bridge. You can have my gourd, but I need to do a deal with you. You want me to take you on the bridge? Yimo said coldly. This was a life or death thing. No matter how much he wanted the gourd, he wouldn't take Ji Shi on the life-crippling bridge. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. 2063 Cross Bridge. 2063 Cross Bridge. The life-crippling bridge was already this dangerous. It was dangerous for him to go alone. If he brought another, it would be twice as dangerous. The prenatal spirit treasure was good, but it wasn't as important as his life. I'm not asking you to agree now. People here would at least watch for a few decades to a few centuries before they dare to go on the bridge. After you study it, if you're confident, we can do the deal. I don't need you to take care of me. You just need to bring over my lotus stand. Ji Shi said. Yimo understood. Ji Shi wanted to hide in her lotus stand and then he could take it, which was the same as taking her. This is a good idea. He could hide in his golden page world and control it to cross the bridge. You can go yourself first. If there's danger, then go into your lotus stand. Yimo said. Ji Shi said plainly, if one can enter another dimension, then the life-crippling bridge wouldn't have that name. No one can enter their own world on the if bridge. You can't use spirit sense on the life-crippling bridge. I'm not close to you. Why do you trust me so much? Are you interested in me? Plus, aren't you scared that I would steal your lotus stand? Plus, you've only been in here for this long and you want to leave already? Yimo doubted why Ji Shi asked him to bring her across the bridge. He didn't believe she would leave her life to his hands. Ji Shi said calmly, you don't need to misunderstand. I won't be interested in anyone. As long as I'm in the lotus stand, no one can steal it from me. If one tries to spirit control it, I can detonate it and you wouldn't be able to get your gourd. As for why I want to go out desperately, it's my business. I trust you because your spirit sense can for a realm here and your expertise in formation is unmatched. Yimo asked in confusion, does one need to be good at formation to cross the life-crippling bridge? How come I've never heard of this? What does my spirit sense forming realm have to do with crossing the bridge? Didn't you say spirit sense can't be used on the bridge? Ji Shi said slowly, you can't cross the bridge by walking straight. It said those who are masters of formation can find the right pass. If you take me on the lotus stand, I can help you check the right track inside. If your spirit sense can form realm, you can protect your soul. Even if you can't release your spirit sense, you would have much greater chance of survival than others. Yimo fell into silence. If he didn't collaborate with Ji Shi, then he would have to ask about that path thing. Saint Ji, I agree to the collaboration, but we need to be honest with each other. First, what is that set path you were talking about? Give me a jade slip in it. Second, why are you in a rush to cross the bridge? You must tell me the truth. Yimo thought for a while and said in a more polite tone. She came from a big sect. This means she probably knew what was good in the life-crippling forbidden grounds. He would want to share too. She said calmly, how to cross the life-crippling bridge is the heritage from my sect. I can't tell you about it. As for why I need to cross the bridge, I can tell you. Because in the countless years of the immortal goddess sacred sect, they have never abandoned a saint unless she died. Oh, I understand. You were abandoned by the immortal goddess sacred sect, so you're annoyed and want to go back and see what happened? Yimo asked. She shook her head. I'm not annoyed. I'm afraid something happened to the sect, so I have to go back and look. As long as I'm alive, I won't allow anything to happen to the sect. Yimo sneered. If a Tao Essence Divine Emperor annihilated your immortal goddess sacred sect, can you go bite him? She said calmly, Tao Essence Divine Emperor can't annihilate the immortal goddess sacred sect. She was really confident. Yimo didn't want to waste time talking and said, give me the gourd, you can enter the lotus stand. I agree to your conditions. You're crossing the bridge now? She was shocked by Yimo's words. Yimo had only been here for half a day and he wanted to cross the bridge. This was too absurd. Of course, if you're not willing, I won't wait for you. I will cross myself. Yimo said. He desired to cross the bridge much more. It was unbearable for him to keep staying here. Yimo knew that cultivating in the God Necropolis domain was much better than going out, but he didn't feel safe about Moyu immortal sect. There was also the Luoyu continent unable to immortal ascension. Did Kai Mi solve the problem? He was worried the most about Truth Divine Emperor. Was he reborn? He didn't fear Truth Divine Emperor now, but he was worried about Yimo. From Su Jingwen, Yimo knew that Yimo got Truth Divine Emperor's immortal Carnage Tower. Regardless if Yimo ascended or not, Truth Divine Emperor can probably sense his immortal Carnage Tower if he was Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor. That would be a disaster for Yimo. Yimo didn't believe that Yimo could completely spirit control the immortal Carnage Tower to prevent Truth Divine Emperor from sensing it. With all this piled up, how could Yimo have the mood to cultivate here? Yimo saw that she frowned and didn't reply, so he couldn't be bothered waiting for her. Seeing Yimo really walk towards the life-crippling bridge, she quickly said, wait, I agree, but I can't give you the gourd now. I'll give it to you after we cross the bridge. Okay. Yimo said. Seeing this, she went into her lotus stand, which transformed into a palm-sized lotus and fell into Yimo's hand. Tao friend Yi, you're going on the life-crippling bridge as soon as you got here? Gongyang asked in shock. Yimo said helplessly, yes, Tao friend Gongyang, I have some desperate matters to attend to. If I don't go to the life-crippling forbidden grounds, I might not be able to get out. I know me. If I can't go over now, then I wouldn't be able to get over 100 years later. Okay, Tao friend Yi, you're a decisive person, we definitely should be friends. But I don't do things as decisively as you. Gongyang raised his thumb. As though remembering something, he added, Tao friend Yi, do you have something unfinished? If you fall off the river and I can do it for you, I will definitely help you. Yimo thought. He was originally going to ask Gongyang to help with the immortal realm. But then he gave up the thought. It wasn't appropriate. I don't have anything special. Changfei Divine Tao City has this Jew Dragon God Tower that wants to kill me. I'll kill them after I go out this time. If I can't go out, then Tao friend Gongyang can help me with this. I will be very grateful. Yimo said. Gongyang laughed, this is a small thing. As long as I can get out, it will be on me. Yimo saluted with his fists, then thank you Tao friend Gongyang, I'll be going first. Then, Yimo grabbed the lotus and quickly got on the bridge and disappeared into the mist. This Tao friend Yi is a straightforward person. Gongyang raised his thumb. If it wasn't that he could subtly sense some laws on the bridge, he might have crossed it like Yimo. As soon as Yimo got on, he was blown by the countless yin kai and felt his essence spirit uncontrollably wobble inside his body. There was nothing he could do. Yimo thought of the path she talked about. She said she could contact him but he didn't feel it. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. 2064, So Close. 2064, So Close. G11 was also desperate. She found that the means the immortal goddess sacred sect taught her couldn't contact Yi Mo. Yi Mo knew that he couldn't rely on her to point the way, so he stopped. He used his body refinement cultivation method and formed a barrier around his body. The Yin Kai was blocked by the barrier and weakened. Yi Mo then released a few spirit sense blades and formed a spirit sense realm inside the barrier. Yi Mo breathed easy. Luckily his spirit will 9 transformations was still useful. When the spirit sense realm formed, Yi Mo's essence spirit no longer floated around. Yi Mo sped up, but as he went further, he felt it harder and harder to hold up the barrier. His spirit sense realm was also squeezed. Later on, his essence spirit became floaty again. Yi Mo breathed and stopped. At this moment, Jishi's voice sounded: stand on the yin line, walk along the wall. Jishi just said these words and her voice fell silent. Clearly it was very hard for her to even say that. Yi Mo looked at the bridge and really didn't understand what the yin line was. Where was the wall? Crack. Yi Mo's heart sunk. He knew his body refinement barrier had broken. Without it, his spirit sense realm instantly crumbled. 2 lines flashed across Yi Mo's sight. One had an extremely heavy Yin Kai. Yi Mo didn't have time to look at the other one and stepped on the Yin Kai fine line. When Yi Mo stepped on this line, he felt that his essence spirit that was almost blown out of his body came back. The extremely Yin Kai blew past his body. Although there was still some Yin Kai where he stood, it was much weaker. Yi Mo breathed easy. This life-crippling bridge was really strange. Although he was Tao molding Divine Emperor, Yi Mo knew that he was on par with even Tao actualization Divine Emperor. Yet with such power, he was defenseless on the life-crippling bridge. Luckily she gave him a clue. However, he still didn't understand what walking along the wall was. He could only keep walking along the line. He didn't form spirit sense realm again. It was too damaging to him for his spirit sense realm to break. Luckily he was a body refinement cultivator and had the power of the 3 birth chant to allow him to barely protect his essence spirit. The yin line was extremely thin, but as Yi Mo walked, it grew wider and wider, giving Yi Mo the feeling that it was wider than the bridge. Yi Mo didn't dare to keep walking like this. He felt that if he did, he would probably fall into the river soon. Luckily, where he stood had the weakest Yin Kai. His essence spirit could still feel the powerful calling of the river, but it couldn't make his essence spirit leave his body. Yi Mo forcefully used his spirit sense realm again, and then, a long rusty wall suddenly appeared on the line. The wall stretched very long, as though to the ends of heaven. Was this walking along the wall? Yi Mo walked along the wall without hesitation. The instant Yi Mo's feet fell along the wall, the yin line disappeared. 2 hours later, Yi Mo had to stop as the wall disappeared again. There was endless Yin Kai hallowing around him. His essence spirit and soul was rattling again for the 3rd time, as though about to jump off into the river. Yi Mo forced himself to calm down. He knew that one could only keep walking forward on the bridge. Where he walked would disappear. If he walked back, he would just fall into the river. He knew that he couldn't stand still for long or he wouldn't be able to resist that calling. You're quite amazing to be able to get over here. You probably walked over using the yin line. There's no more road, stay here with the Emperor. An extremely ancient voice sounded by Yi Mo's ear. Yi Mo was shocked and found that where the wall disappeared, a skeleton appeared. It was extremely thin and sat at the corner of the wall. Yi Mo didn't need to ask to know that it was another Divine Emperor that had crossed the bridge. He couldn't go on anymore and had to sit down as he watched himself become skeleton. But Yi Mo still admired this person. His body was gone, but his essence spirit was still here. I did indeed. Yi Mo just said a few words and suddenly stopped. He found he couldn't make a sound. Hihi, you're a mere Tao molding Divine Emperor and you dare to talk on the life-crippling bridge. If you didn't walk along the wall, you would have jumped off already. Little kid, you won't be able to stop here for long. Before you die, Find a place to sit and chat with me for a bit. I haven't spoken to anyone in tens of thousands of years." The skeleton laughed. Suddenly, a bleak lethal force attacked him. Yimo instantly realized that this skeleton was ambushing him as they were talking. At this moment, Yimo couldn't care about not leaving the wall. He quickly left and went around the skeleton. He couldn't think about why the skeleton attacked him. The instant he left the wall, he could no longer feel that lethal force. Endless yin kai blew over and Yimo's soul loosened up. Yimo burned his essence blood and god essence. After that, the body refinement barrier formed again and he used his spirit sense realm again. When he used this and saw what was before him, he immediately sweated cold. He was standing at the edge of the bridge. If he took one more step he would fall off into the river. Yimo quickly went back. Feeling the intense yin kai scraping his body and the soul-eroding calls of the river, Yimo knew that his barrier and spirit sense realm would only last 10 seconds. If he didn't charge out of the bridge before his spirit sense realm broke, he would definitely jump off. Yimo dashed forward like crazy. As he sped up, his barrier made cracking sounds. Crack. When Yimo heard this, he fell into despair. Even when he burned his life, he couldn't make it very far. Suddenly, a dark blue appeared before Yimo's eyes. Yimo rejoiced. Was he on the other side? Swoosh. More yin kai blew over and Yimo saw that dark blue color was so close but it was something he could never reach. Yimo looked at the lotus in his hand and threw it over. Whether she lived or died was her fate. He couldn't care. Yimo didn't even care that he didn't get the gourd. His life was gone. The yin kai grew heavier. Yimo didn't dare to move. If he moved, his essence spirit would be taken by the yin kai. Yimo wanted to burn his life but his essence spirit was floating on the surface on his body. He couldn't even touch the golden page world, much less go in. Just when Yimo was about to accept fate, a small crack appeared before him. Yimo didn't care anymore. He used all his power to charge into that crack. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. 2065 Fall in the Jiao Shadow Ranges. 2065 Fall in the Jiao Shadow Ranges. The instant Yimo entered that crack, he wanted to go into the golden page world but there was this terrifying spinning power from the crevice that almost tore him to pieces. If he wasn't immortal god body peak stage, he would be in pieces now. The serious side effects of burning ebb and essence kai began to show. As soon as he used spirit sense, he felt this wave of dizziness. That spinning power grew but there was nothing he could do. In a short while, he lost consciousness. Only his body refinement cultivation method was running automatically and barely protected his body. Luckily there was just rotational power here, no space disposition and things. Jiao Shadow Range wasn't very famous in Xinqiang continent but rarely did people not know. This was because the yin kai here was very heavy and was said to be connected to the underworld. It's said that everyone who died on this continent would go into the underworld from here to be reincarnated. Souls would come here for a while before entering the underworld. Usually, cultivators who died not long ago would stay here for a while. Living people can come here and communicate with the dead. This communication was limited and it required powerful beings' soul calling rune to work. Not only so, one must go past the grey forest in here. The grey forest was also a very cold and scary place on the continent. There were large amounts of ghost cultivators and yin souls. Yin souls couldn't enter samsara and thus roam in the grey forests. As for ghost cultivators, they're people who don't want to go through reincarnation. The yin kai was too heavy and the gravity was extremely heavy too in the grey forest, so ordinary cultivators couldn't fly at all. Thus, it was very hard to cross the forest and come to the Jiao Shadow Ranges. On this continent, everyone knew the ranges was the place to communicate to the dead but rarely did people talk about it. At this moment, there was a white-robed woman with a 10-year-old boy in the forest. They were rushing forward worriedly. There was a huge light barrier that protected them and there were unknown things smashing against the barrier. These shadows were very thin. The woman could see with her spirit sense but the little boy knew nothing. The barrier was getting thinner and thinner. Sister Chungying, can we really see my brother once we cross this forest? The little boy asked. The white-robed woman nodded yes, hurry, we just need to cross this forest and we can talk to your brother. The boy nodded and sped up. Hurry, you must not fight with Peng Xian and them next time. The woman added. The boy said Peng Xian dared to say that sister slept with Xinhai City's master Meng just to get him to help. I was angry so I beat him up. The woman's figure paused and her pale face grew paler, but she sped up. The boy seemed to know that sister was unhappy and didn't speak anymore. 15 minutes later, their barrier finally couldn't hold on and cracked. Luckily, they were out of the grey forest now, but those shadows didn't dare to dash out of the forest. The bleak Kai shivered the woman, but she released a shield. Sister Chungying, is this the Jiao Shadow Ranges? The little boy looked at this spooky place and asked in terror. The woman looked around this bleak environment shrouded in mist and then said to the boy, hurry, let's call here. The boy didn't understand these things and could only nod. The woman took out a rune and looked at it for a long while before releasing it. A bleak mist Kai spewed out from the rune and then the mist Kai dissipated. The woman stood there in a daze for a long time. She didn't expect that she worked so hard, used all her savings and was almost taken advantage of by that bastard and only got a fake soul-calling rune in the end. Sister Chungying, what happened? The boy asked worriedly. The white-robed woman sighed. She looked back at the grey forest. She knew that it was extremely hard for them to leave. At this moment, a whirlpool suddenly appeared in the void. The entire range was moved by this whirlpool. The bleak Kais even made a whimpering sound. Thud. There was this extremely loud sound in this distance. The white-robed woman saw that the whirlpool disappeared again. Sister Chungying, what is that? The boy asked worriedly. The woman checked with her spirit sense and said shakily, it seems to be a person, but that person fell into a small swap. Only his head is outside. Sister Chungying, didn't you say only souls can go into the Jiao Shadow Ranges? How can there be a person there? The boy felt her nervousness and clutched her robes tightly. I don't know, don't move, stay here. The white-robed woman said quietly as though fearing she would be heard by others. Then, she pulled the boy to a corner and put the shield up in front of them. She took out a low-grade spirit artifact with her other hand and stared nervously at the swamp. When Yimo opened his eyes, he felt the bleak Kai around him and immediately thought he was in the life-crippling river. However, he soon realized he wasn't. Although his essence Kai was greatly depleted and his sea of consciousness was seriously injured and had less than 1/1,000,000th of his power, these Yin Kai couldn't harm him at all. If it was the life-crippling river, how could it be this safe? Yimo struggled up from the swamp and wanted to go into the Golden Page world immediately, but then his sea of consciousness ached. Yimo knew this was due to him using Spirit Sense Realm again and then going into the crevice. At least he was alive. His body refinement cultivation method ran automatically when he went into the crevice and blocked the damage of the whirlpool. However, he stayed in there for too long, causing his body, sea of consciousness and essence Kai to be greatly injured. Yimo sat down and rested for 15 minutes. The chaos tree constantly nourished him and his spirit sense recovered a little bit. With that, he immediately went into the Golden Page world. He cleansed himself and changed into new clothes before feeling something wrong. When he crawled up, there was no immortal spirit Kai, it was the most basic spirit Kai and it was extremely arid. There was more Yin Kai. Yimo came out of the Golden Page world before even talking to small Ginseng and Shadowless. He suspected that he came back to Luo Yu continent. Otherwise, how could there only be spirit Kai? Coming out of the Golden Page world, Yimo almost fell on the ground. Yimo knew that it was because he was too heavily injured, even though he ate many pills and the chaos tree kept nourishing his meridians and essence Kai, he needed to go into solitary cultivation. Yimo's spirit sense recovered a bit and could at least see the surrounding few hundred kms. He scanned his spirit sense out and saw a white-robed woman with a little boy hiding and looking nervously at him. Yimo frowned. He just went into the Golden Page world and came out. He didn't know if she saw this. But soon, he saw that the woman was only Golden Core State primary stage and her Kai was unstable. Clearly, she just reached Golden Core State. Was this really Luo Yu continent? Yimo rejoiced. If it was, he could go back to Mo Yu City really quickly. Yi Mo sped up going out. Even though he was heavily injured, he was a Tao Vindication Divine Emperor. A truth realization state peak stage was still an insect to him. He had no concerns in the cultivation realm. Seeing the man in the mud actually walk out, the white-robed woman and boy was even more nervous. When she saw that Yi Mo was a human with Kai, she relaxed a little and pulled the little boy and stood up. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2066 Familiar People at Shenqiong. Chapter 2066 Familiar People at Shenqiong. How Qiangying greet Chen Bei. The white-robed woman bowed to Yi Mo. She then stood waiting for Yi Mo to answer nervously. Although Yi Mo looked all too ordinary and didn't have any fierce Kai on him, How Qiangying was still very nervous. This person suddenly appeared in here and fell into the swamp, but he could still walk out casually. She was golden core state and could only walk at the very border of the ranges. She didn't dare to go in at all. Yi Mo glanced at this woman. Her hair was casually braided. She didn't dress herself up intentionally. Her face was pale and had some nervousness. She looked not bad but was a far cry compared to Ji Shi and Zhen Bingyu. May I ask, where is this place? Why is there so much yin kai here? Yi Mo asked. Hearing this, How Qiangying finally breathed easy. Yi Mo's tone was rather polite. How Qiangying then realized that Yi Mo's words were a bit strange. Who didn't know this place was the Jiao Shadow Ranges? She then realized again that she shouldn't daze. She bowed and answered, this is Jiao Shadow Ranges. Jiao Shadow Ranges? Is this Luo Yu continent? Yi Mo frowned and had a bad feeling. He had never heard of this place on Luo Yu continent. How Qiangying wasn't dumb. With this, she immediately realized that Yi Mo wasn't from Shenqiong continent. Thinking about how Yi Mo fell from the sky, how could she not know that this Chen Bei probably came from Luo Yu continent? She suppressed her horror and said with even more respectful tone, Chen Bei, this is Shenqiong cultivation realm, not Luo Yu continent. Wen Bei had heard of Luo Yu continents. It said that it's a similar place not far from Shenqiong continent. Yi Mo could see her nervousness and smiled. Don't be nervous, I used a space-breaking rune and accidentally came here. Yi Mo didn't want to scare her. If she knew who he really was, she might not even be able to talk. Hearing this, How Qiangying breathed easier. If one used the space-breaking rune, even a Nai Shuangshuang cultivator could cross realms, but those people who had such runes weren't simple, so Yi Mo was still mysterious to her. Why is this forest so bleak? There's no one in a 1,000-kilometer radius. What is going on? Yi Mo's spirit sense recovered quickly. It was only 300 kilometers before but now was beyond 1,000 kilometers. This was him not focusing on recovering too. The chaos tree was indeed absurd. How Qiangying didn't dare to hide it and quickly said, Chen Bei, this range is the place to seek souls. It said that it's connected to the underworld. Hearing this, Yi Mo frowned. He felt he landed at a strange place. The life-crippling river and bridge were filled with yin kai and the place of lost souls. It said that those who fall down would lose their souls and disappear from the universe forever. The swamp here had very dense yin kai and was the fabled entrance to the underworld. But Yi Mo doubted if this place was related to the divine Tao realm's life-crippling river. Yi Mo had heard of the underworld and knew that it was a very ethereal realm. It's unheard of that someone could enter it. Even if cultivators reincarnated, they could rarely remember anything about the underworld. Yi Mo's cultivation level had dropped quickly, but his power was at least a great unity immortal. He scanned this place with his spirit sense. There's some yin souls here, but they're all very dazed. I don't see an entrance to the underworld. Is there something wrong with this legend? Even if this fable is right, I'm certain your husband's soul isn't here. Yes, Chen Bei, Wen Bei knows now. How Qiangying said quietly. Regardless if her husband's soul was here or not, she wouldn't be able to summon it. Yi Mo nodded. In that case, take me out. Yi Mo knew someone here. Meng Zhen was from Shenqiong continent and his disciple Mang Kang came from here too. Meng Qi was also at Shenqiong continent. Meng Zhen and Mang Kang had ascended and were at Mo Yu immortal sect now, but Meng Qi hadn't ascended. He could go find her. When he recovered his power, he could cover the continent instantly. Then, Yimo seemed to realize his words weren't too polite, so he added, when you go out, I will give you something. You won't do it for free. Hao Qiangying quickly said, Qian Bei. Wen Bei should take Qian Bei out. I don't dare to take Qian Bei's things. But there's many yin souls in the forest and some ghost cultivators. If, Yimo smiled, it's fine, just lead the way, they won't dare to come. Yes. Hao Qiangying couldn't have gone out alone, and now that Yimo told her not to worry, she was willing to take him out even more. Qian Bei, my sister was tricked. Can you help her and teach that person a lesson? The boy suddenly said. Hurry, don't say that. Hao Qiangying quickly stopped. She was afraid that if her brother-in-law offended Yimo, it would be over. Yimo took out a storage ring and gave it to the boy. You need to get revenge yourself. You're already Kai gathering middle stage. I'll give you a storage ring. There's cultivation method in here and some resources. When you're strong, get revenge yourself. Thank you, Qian Bei. Hao Qiangying said. The three walked into the grey forest and Hao Qiangying became nervous. She sped up as she didn't want to stay here one extra minute. 5 minutes later, she was confused. When she passed the forest, many shadows dashed on her barrier. Now, there was no barrier, but they didn't see any yin souls nor ghost cultivators. Yimo was Divine Emperor, and even though his power decreased a lot, his Divine Emperor domain was still there. With such domain expanding out, what dared to get close? Even if they did, they would turn to dust. With Hao Qiangying's power, she wouldn't even be able to sense Yimo's domain. Yimo wasn't too unlucky, and neither was Ji Shi. When her lotus was thrown to the other end, her spirit sense scanned out immediately. She saw a blue color and immediately rejoiced. She knew that this meant she was at the life-crippling forbidden grounds. Before she could think, another crevice appeared before the lotus, and before she could react, the lotus fell into that crack. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2067 Behind the Divine Sect. Chapter 2067 Behind the Divine Sect. Without the lotus stand, Ji Shi would have turned to nothing in the spinning space. However, the lotus stand was a top-level magic artifact, and despite spinning in the void, it didn't slow down at all nor get damaged. The Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect's prison door mountain was at the border of the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect. The god spirit Kai was arid there, and it was filled with chaotic and messy Kai. It wasn't good for cultivation nor for living. There was an extremely short hill with a dark passage that led to the depth of this mountain. This short hill was where the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect locked up sect members who were convicted. 1-foot soul would constantly be burned by yin fire. Due to arid god spirit Kai, there was no way to defend against the yin fire. The only way was to just endure it. The people locked up here could only watch as their soul weakened and sea of consciousness withered. Even when the divine Tao realm was complete, the prison door mountain was the crudest place. Outside the mountain, Mu Xiaoyun's eyes were red. She knew that her master was locked up in there due to her by her martial uncle. Sorry master, disciple brought this on you. Mu Xiaoyun said after visiting her master. Seeing the way her master was tortured, it was unbearable for her. Lan Chalan's weak voice sounded by Mu Xiaoyun's ears. Xiaoyun, don't feel guilty. I'm already happy that the sect leader can let you visit me. Plus, she's giving me a light sentence. I'm only locked up for 100 years. I can listen to my own Tao voice here. Xiaoyun, I really want you to see your husband again, but as long as I'm here, you must not leave the sect alone. Otherwise, you would never have hope. Although you're the most cruelly treated saint, you're still the saint. Bu's status in the sect is low, help me look after her. Mu Xiaoyun sniffed. Yes, disciple will remember this. She didn't realize what her master was implying. It was that if she died, then Xiaoyun should quickly leave. Lan Chalan didn't say it that way, as she was scared that her every word would be heard. She was also scared that no matter how far Xiaoyun went, she wouldn't be able to escape from the immortal goddess sacred sect. She believed that as long as she was alive, the sect leader wouldn't do anything to Xiaoyun, but if she died, Xiaoyun's fate would be tragic. Go first. The Kai here is too messy. Lan Qilan said weakly again. Before Mu Xiaoyun could reply, an extremely rapid light tore open the space from the distant mountain and into the valley of the prison door mountain. The rays were shocking and had Dao waves. Mu Xiaoyun was now great extreme immortal. She knew this was definitely a top treasure. Mu Xiaoyun's only obsession was to see her husband Yi Mo and didn't really care about other things. Even though she knew that a top-level magic artifact fell, she didn't charge up immediately. Instead, she closely got near where the magic artifact landed with her flying sword. At the same time, in the sect leader palace of Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect, a few women sat on the side with one purple-robed woman sitting in the middle. She was the sect leader, Ji Sini. Yunhui, tell me about what you think. Xiaoyun is only great extreme immortal middle stage now. Even if she is to reach Immortal King, she would need 100 years. The Great Sun God Mountain is too desperate. Our Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect already agreed to their request. What else do they want? Is our saint that worthless? The purple-robed woman sneered. Yunhui said respectfully, sect leader, during these years our Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect has fallen quickly, but the Great Sun God Mountain has risen quickly. If the Shuyu Divine Dao still existed, they could take on Great Sun God Mountain, but Shuyu Divine Dao is more declined than us. Their sect is in rubbles. No wonder the Great Sun God Mountain is so cocky. The primordial essence war didn't involve the Shuyu Divine Dao. No one dares to fight there. Their annihilation is probably related to the Great Sun God Mountain, right? One Dao actualization Divine Emperor said. Yunhui said martial sister Nanshuang is right. It's said that the Shuyu Divine Dao had a disciple called Duanmu Yuerong. His talent was unparalleled. He reached the highest primordial essence Great Dao in a mere tens of thousands of years and then left the Shuyu Divine Dao and opened a realm to connect to the underworld. The greatest suspect for annihilating Shuyu Divine Dao was the Great Sun God Mountain. After they did that, they didn't do anything else. The reason they waited till now was because they were scared Duanmu Yuerong would come back. But after countless years, Duanmu Yuerong never came back. Something probably happened to him as he opened the tunnel to the underworld. That's why the Great Sun God Mountain has no fear and is now attacking us Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect. Nanshuang got up and said, sect leader, regardless, our Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect is the #1 sect of the Divine Dao realm now. Even if our power isn't as great as the Great Sun God Mountain who hides in the dark, isn't it too insulting for us to give our saint to the Great Sun God Mountain? No matter how strong they are, it doesn't mean the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect is scared of them. The Shuyu Divine Dao wasn't scared of them and robbed the word Tan from their sect name. We don't need to be scared of them too. Nanshuang's words were very impolite. The sect leader frowned but didn't say anything. Yunhui sneered, martial sister Nanshuang. You know that Mu Xiaoyun is just a temporary substitute saint, right? The reason we chose her was for her to stay at the Immortal Goddess Peak for 100 years and sacrifice for our sect. And it's too rude for you to be talking to the sect leader like this. Then she added, plus, our Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect is the #1 sect of the Divine Dao realm, but do you think we're the strongest? We're the #1 sect because Saint Qing sacrificed herself for the Divine Dao realm. Our power isn't that strong. Martial sister Nanshuang, do you know how many Dao Essence Divine Emperors the Great Sun God Mountain has? Without enough power, do you think they can annihilate Shuyu Divine Dao? Nanshuang said coldly, Yunhui, how can I not know what you're thinking? Regardless if you have conflict with martial sister Qilan, since we chose Xiaoyun to be saint, we should treat her as the real saint, not someone to trade with the Great Sun God Mountain. The Great Sun God Mountain might be a lot stronger than us, but I, Wang Nanshuang, would rather fight to the death than succumb to them. A blue-robed Dao Nourishment Divine Emperor got up and said, martial sister Yunhui and martial sister Nanshuang are both doing this for the sect. Let's just sit down and listen to the opinion of the sect leader. Nanshuang sighed and sat down. How could she not know what the sect leader wanted? Jishi's soul lamp wasn't gone, but the sect leader took the flame from the lamp and forcefully lit up the lamp with half of Mu Xiaoyun's soul. Clearly, she wanted to use Mu Xiaoyun as a substitute offering to the great sun god mountain. However, her power was too low. Even with her Tao actualization divine emperor power, it was nothing in the immortal goddess sacred sect. She believed that martial sister Chilan guessed this and tried to prevent Xiaoyun from becoming saint. However, the sect leader was determined to protect Jishi. She would rather sacrifice a Mu Xiaoyun who has lost her virginity. The great sun god mountain requires our saint, but it's not like they're not giving any compensation. They don't dare to have too much conflict with us yet. Yunhui, go tell them to wait till our saint becomes a status immortal. The sect leader said. Then, she looked at Wang Nanshuang and said, Nanshuang, I'm not giving the saint to the great sun god mountain. We'll drag it on for as much as we can. Perhaps things would change after 100 years. Otherwise, if the immortal goddess sacred sect is annihilated due to me, I would be the greatest sinner of the immortal goddess sacred sect. Yes, sect leader. Yunhui quickly answered. Wang Nanshuang could only sigh helplessly. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2068 Encounter with the Sane. Chapter 2068 Encounter with the Sane. Mu Xiaoyun hadn't even walked there yet and saw another explosion. Beams of rainbow light shot out and a figure appeared in the light. Mu Xiaoyun stopped. She saw that it was an extremely beautiful woman. The immortal goddess sacred sect lacked beautiful women the least, but this woman was prettier than all the women she had seen at immortal goddess sacred sect. Who are you? Why did you appear at the immortal goddess sacred sect? Mu Xiaoyun subconsciously asked. She just came out of the lotus stand and was looking around. She didn't even care about Mu Xiaoyun. No Tao nourishment divine emperor would worry about a great extreme immortal. I'm back at the divine sect. She murmured in disbelief. She had always lived at the immortal goddess sacred sect. The land was big, but she knew every part of it. This was the back of the prison door mountain, the most distant part of the immortal goddess sacred sect. She was very shocked to have appeared here after her lotus stand went into that void fissure. She was a bit dazed, but Mu Xiaoyun said nothing. She didn't feel any sense of belonging to the immortal goddess sacred sect. It really is the immortal goddess sacred sect, and the back of the prison door mountain. She breathed. She felt she was too lucky. There were countless realm fissures at the life-crippling forbidden grounds, but they led to different realms. Yet, she could come back to the immortal goddess sacred sect. When she left the immortal goddess sacred sect, she was only an immortal emperor, and now that she came back, she was Tao nourishment divine emperor. Suddenly, she thought of Yi Mo. When Yi Mo threw her lotus stand out, she was very grateful. If he didn't throw it, her lotus stand would fall into the life-crippling river too. Despite Yi Mo did this for the gourd, Yi Mo fulfilled his promise, but she didn't give the gourd to him. She sighed. Although Yi Mo fell down the river and it had nothing to do with her, Yi Mo didn't have to throw her back up. She would find Yi Mo's descendants and give the gourd to them. If Yi Mo didn't have descendants, then once she reached Tao Essence Divine Emperor, she would go there again and throw the gourd down the river. Casting these thoughts aside, she suddenly asked, did you just join the immortal goddess sacred sect? I remember you weren't here before I left. Mu Xiaoyun saw she was frowning and didn't disturb her. Now that she asked, she quickly said, so Qian Bei is from immortal goddess sacred sect too. Wan Bei just joined the sect for 100 years. Wait, why do you have the Kai of the Saint? Do you live at Immortal Goddess Peak? She asked. Mu Xiaoyun knew that living at the Immortal Goddess Peak would give her this Saint Kai. This Immortal Goddess Peak was surrounded by the best marrow-cleansing god range. Even if you didn't cultivate, you would have more temperament and better cultivation talent staying there. Mu Xiaoyun could see that she was even more powerful than her master. She quickly answered, Wanbei. Mu Xiaoyun is now the saint of the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect. You're the new saint. So it's you. She looked at Mu Xiaoyun dazedly. She could feel that Mu Xiaoyun was no longer a virgin. How could the sect let someone like her be the saint? This saint wasn't even status immortal yet. This was absurd. Shi frowned and suddenly waved up a few restrictions and said to Mu Xiaoyun, tell me how you became the saint and what the sect leader did. Mu Xiaoyun wasn't dumb. She was this powerful and pretty. With how she kept talking about the saint, she guessed some things. After she set up the restriction, she checked Shi with her spirit sense boldly and found that she indeed had similar kai to him. Mu Xiaoyun instantly realized that the flame the sect leader took from the soul lamp didn't go out. This woman was probably the previous saint. She knew this, but she didn't stop it. She wanted to tell Mu Xiaoyun she was the last saint. Mu Xiaoyun, greet sister saint. Mu Xiaoyun quickly bowed. She nodded, tell me everything you know, I won't blame you. Yes. Mu Xiaoyun said. After hearing Mu Xiaoyun's story, Shi frowned. Xiaoyun, you're saying that the sect leader took out my lamp when it was still lit and forcefully lit up yours? Mu Xiaoyun fell silent. That's what she said before. What are you doing at the prison door mountain? She asked. The sect leader used half my soul to light up the land. My master tried to argue for me. Later, she was judged to be locked in there for 100 years. I came to see my master. If it wasn't for Martial Uncle Yunhui, I wouldn't be saint and master wouldn't be in there. Mu Xiaoyun said slowly. She frowned even more and fell into a long silence. Why was half your soul used? Did it only take a sliver of spirit will to light it up? Mu Xiaoyun didn't answer, and she didn't need her to answer. She sighed and said, marital Uncle Chilan is in here. I'm going to see her. She glanced at Mu Xiaoyun and said, Xiaoyun, did you mean that you want me to become a saint again? You know, if I tell this to Martial Uncle Yunhui, you would be dead for sure. Mu Xiaoyun wasn't worried at all. I never wanted to be saint. If I didn't have to see my husband, so what if I died? Hearing this, she looked at Mu Xiaoyun with greater light. Where is your husband? She didn't understand Mu Xiaoyun's feelings but still asked. He's in a mortal realm. I don't know if he reached golden core state or not. If not, I'm afraid. Mu Xiaoyun thought that even if she gave the saint position to Shi, Yimo might not be alive. She could no longer control her sorrow. She was scared that she wouldn't be able to see Yimo again. Seeing this, Shi shook her head speechlessly and sighed. You've helped me be saint for this long. I'll go to Master's place and take back half your soul. Thanks for your help. I can check for you if your husband is alive. As long as your husband didn't reach Nai Shuang, I can check it. Take out something of your husband's. I need a sliver of his kai. You can check that. Mu Xiaoyun was completely dazed. Why didn't her master tell her this? Then Mu Xiaoyun realized she was too rude and said shakily, sister saint, please check where my husband Yimo is. This is a magic artifact he gave me. Mu Xiaoyun's voice and heart was shaky when she took it out. If her husband was really no longer in the world, she didn't want to stay here at all. She really didn't understand why Mu Xiaoyun was so devoted to this man. The reason she could check if the man was alive or not wasn't due to her own capabilities but that she had the 9 lotus stand. She could use it to check the life or death of cultivators who haven't formed nascent swall yet. What did you say your husband was called? She suddenly reacted. This was too much of a coincidence. She seemed to have said her husband was called Yimo. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2069 The universe is very small. Chapter 2069 The universe is very small. You're out of the grey forest like this. How Qiangying stared at the forest behind her in shock. Yimo felt the slightly denser spirit Kai and didn't feel as bad as before. After feeling the world laws around him, he opened his eyes and nodded. Immortals coming to the cultivation realm would be suppressed and even forcefully ascended. But the cultivation realm's world laws were very clear in his will. He didn't feel any suppression in terms of power. In here, he could casually write the top cultivation method suitable to the surrounding laws. This had nothing to do with wisdom, it was just power. Although his spirit sense was only 1,000 kilometers, the same as a nascent soul cultivator, his power could easily kill Great Unity Immortal. After he learned the cultivation realm world laws, Yimo was more certain that even if his cultivation level completely recovered to Tao molding Divine Emperor, he wouldn't be limited by the world laws here, as his knowledge of world laws had already surpassed this realm and even the immortal realm. For a Tao molding Divine Emperor or Tao nourishment Divine Emperor, even if the cultivation realm could be forged into a small world or truth spirit world, they wouldn't want it as the cultivation realm was too low caliber. Only the immortal realm would be attractive to divine emperors below Tao essence. Seeing Yimo close his eyes, Hao Qiangying didn't dare to talk. After realizing the laws here were useless to him, he nodded to Hao Qiangying, "Take me to your cultivation city." Then, Yimo casually waved out an extreme-grade flying spirit artifact. He had way too much immortal artifacts. Extreme-grade spirit artifacts were like trash to him, but Yimo didn't want to kill people. If he took out too many good things here, people would come to rob it. Then, he would kill. Even though he was a Tao molding divine emperor, his heart didn't change. He could kill all those who tried to rob him, but after he was gone, Hao Qiangying and her brother would suffer. "Goddess Qiangying, I want to ask about a few people," Yimo said when they were all on the flying spirit artifact. "Qian Bei, just call me Qiangying," Hao Qiangying quickly said. "Okay." Yimo nodded. "Have you heard of Mu Xiaoyun?" Mu Xiaoyun definitely ascended to the immortal realm, or she wouldn't be at Wujia Sound River. Since he didn't see her at Luoyu continent, she probably ascended from another continent. Unexpectedly, Hao Qiangying immediately said, "I've heard of Goddess Mu. She was one of the top 3 prodigies in 1,000 years. She was the pride of Lotus Glory sect. Due to Goddess Mu, Lotus Glory sect is one of the best 9-star sects. Mu Xiaoyun really came to Shenqiong continent." Yimo rejoiced. He had decided to go visit Mu Xiaoyun's cultivation grounds. Yes, but Goddess Mu had already ascended. She was ranked second for the top 3 prodigies of the continent. Hao Qiangying was full of respect. Yimo calmed down his excitement and asked in confusion, "Xiaoyun's cultivation speed is that fast? How is she only ranked second? Who is the first?" Hao Qiangying immediately knew that Yimo was close to Mu Xiaoyun, or he wouldn't call her Xiaoyun. Hao Qiangying quickly answered, "The first is an solo cultivator called Dongfang Wang. He's very mysterious, but his talent is absurd. He didn't join any sect and ascended to the immortal realm in a short time." "What?" Yimo almost got up. He never was able to find Dongfang Wang. He didn't expect this bastard ran to Shenqiong continent. Not only so, he also ascended to the immortal realm. When he returned to the immortal realm, he would kill this Dongfang Wang immediately. Yimo knew how powerful Dongfang Wang was. The 3 brothers were the best tacticians. Dongfang Wang was the best among the 3. Now, even his cultivation speed was this fast. He would be a greater threat in the future. He would have to annihilate him before he grew strong. Seeing Yimo_'s face sink when he heard Dongfang Wang, Hao Qiangying didn't dare to keep talking. Seeing Hao Qiangying was a bit scared, Yimo waved his hand. "Don't be scared, don't call me Qian Bei. I'm Yimo." "Yes, Martial Brother Yi," Hao Qiangying said respectfully. "Who is the 3rd prodigy?" Yimo asked. Hao Qiangying answered, "A prodigy from Ling Xiao sect Mankang." All 3 Qian Beis had ascended to the immortal realm. Yimo was speechless. He actually knew all 3. When Yimo asked about Meng Zhen or Meng Qi, Hao Qiangying didn't know. After asking for the whereabouts of Lotus Glory sect, Yimo stopped asking. He had decided to recover his injuries first at the Xinhai city and then go to the sect and ask about Xiaoyun. Yimo knew that the reason Xiaoyun was a prodigy was 1 due to her pure wood spirit root and 2nd due to the primordial chaos chant he left her. When he first got it, Yimo didn't care about the cultivation method. He thought Meng Qian was bluffing, but now that he vindicated Dao, he knew that Meng Zhen didn't bluff at all. Every sentence of the primordial chaos chant was very deep and contained all sorts of cultivation laws. No wonder it had no element. Different people would have different results cultivating this. Yimo was very grateful to Lotus Glory sect. He hadn't been there, but he could feel how well they protected Mu Xiaoyun. Otherwise, with her cultivation method, she would have been devoured to the bones. Not only did they not greed after her cultivation method, they were also protecting her. Yimo only used an extreme-grade flying spirit artifact, but in his hands, it was no weaker than an immortal artifact. In half a day, a medium-sized cultivation city appeared in his eyes. Qian Bei, this is Xin Hai City. My husband is from Bai Yang sect. Not long ago, he died in the Shenqiong sect tournament. We moved out from the sect and now live in the city. Hao Qiangying suppressed her shock and said. After chatting with Yimo for this long, she could feel Yimo was an amicable person, so she gradually let loose and wasn't that scared of Yimo. But when Yimo flew this spirit artifact and came to Xinhai City in half a day, she was too shocked. Even extreme-grade spirit artifact would take a few days to come here from the Grey Forest. Hearing this, Yimo suddenly thought of something and asked Qiangying, have you heard of a woman called Kai Wanqing? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2070 Lift of a Hand. Chapter 2070 Lift of a Hand. Hao Qiangying shook her head. Martial brother Yi, I haven't heard of her. Do you know which sect she is from? I don't know. Yimo felt sad. He didn't find Kai Wanqing on Luoyu continent and hoped she would be here. Don't worry Martial brother Yi, the continent is having sect tournament. This tournament would go for half a month. Almost all the sects would participate. If Kai Wanqing is in a sect, Martial brother Yi can find out about her. Hao Qiangying quickly said. Yimo thought, when his power recovered, his spirit sense can easily cover the entire continent. How could he be scared he wouldn't find Kai Wanqing then? You said your husband died in this tournament? Yimo asked. Yes. Hao Qiangying said. Yimo thought for a moment, let's go find a place to rest at the Xinhai City and then take me to the sect tournament. Yimo needed some time to recover. He didn't know how long he had been rolling around for in the void. He looked okay on the surface, but without the help of the chaos tree, he wouldn't even be able to get up. Half a day later, Yimo's spirit sense had recovered to 10,000 kilometers. He got up and decided to go to the sect tournament now. Just when Yimo wanted to call Hao Qiangying, he saw a dark-faced nascent soul cultivator standing at her door. There was a slap print on Hao Qiangying's face. The little boy stared angrily at the cultivator. What happened? Yimo walked to Hao Qiangying's door. Martial brother Yi. Hao Qiangying called. Yu Hurry glared at the cultivator and said this Meng guy tricked my sister and sold a fake rune to her. Now he's beating her. Yimo's face sunk and asked the cultivator, is that so? Before the cultivator could talk, Hao Qiangying said, Martial brother Yi, let's go in and talk, it has nothing to do with him. The cultivator sneered at Yimo, you need to be capable to sleep a widow. I've already decided she's mine, piss off. Really? A mere nascent soul dared to be cocky in front of him. He didn't even bother to ask about this and just threw out a fireball. Haha, the cultivator saw this and laughed. He didn't expect there would be someone to throw fireballs. This fireball wouldn't even create a speck of dust on him. Even if he didn't attack, Yimo would be dead too. Those who dared to fight in the Xinhai City Spirit Rest Tower would be dead for sure. The city strictly forbids magic artifact. If violated, death. Hao Qiangying saw Yimo dare to use fireball, her face went pale. As long as Yimo used magic art, then no matter how much right they had, they would be killed. Plus, a fireball wouldn't hurt at all. The cultivator only laughed twice and couldn't laugh anymore. He found he couldn't move at all. He saw his body quickly disintegrate in the flame, and in the blink of an eye, everything including his nascent soul and storage ring disappeared. After the fireball was gone, Yimo waved his hand and the dust disappeared. It was as though nothing was there. Hao Qiangying stared dazedly at this and couldn't speak for a long time. This was too shocking. What fireball could annihilate a nascent soul? She had never seen such terrifying fireball. I wasted some time, Qiangying, take me to the sect tournament. Yimo patted Yu Hurry's head and said. Martial brother Yi, Hao Qiangying said hardly and then said Meng Guangji is Xinhai City Rune Master Association leader's disciple. The Rune Master Association is very powerful in the Xinhai City and Duan Ganyuan is Truth Realization State Middle Stage Qianbei. We killed Meng Guangji, we probably can't leave the city. Yi Mo understood how she felt and dazed into reminiscence. When he was fighting his way up in the Luoyu cultivation realm, it was like this too. He killed a Tian Aofeng and began to hide everywhere. To Hao Qiangying, she probably wouldn't even be able to leave after offending this association. But to him, even if he slammed the entire city to the grounds, no one would dare to say a thing. Yi Mo shook his head. If it was a strange character divine emperor, he might really palm the city flat. Power was everything in the cultivation realm and immortal realm, but when the power was strong to a certain degree with no restriction, it was terror. If the world laws are complete, the immortal realm and divine Tao realm are completed, would it be as easy to come back to the cultivation realm? Yi Mo murmured. If one day I have the capability, I will perfect the divine Tao realm and the immortal realm. I won't let people come back to low-level realms so easily. Yi Mo said slowly. He didn't want to see high-realm immortals come to the cultivation realm or mortal realm and slaughter everything. Seeing Yi Mo daze, Hao Qiangying was worried too. After a long while, she said Meng Guangji saw my husband die and wanted to use me as a sex slave. I said I wanted to go to Jiao Shadow Range, so he sold me a soul-calling rune. Later I realized it was fake. He thought I wouldn't be able to cross the Grey Forest and would come back to him for help. However, I have a top-level defense rune and crossed the Grey Forest. Yi Mo nodded. This person deserves to die, let's go. Hao Qiangying's face was pale. We probably can't leave, the people from the Rune Master Association wouldn't let us leave. Yi Mo indeed saw a few people coming. He just smiled but didn't talk. You can't leave indeed. You dare to kill Master Meng in Xinhai City. If I don't slice you to mince, then you raised me up. A skinny man said. I don't raise dogs like you. Yi Mo said and threw another fireball. A mere cauldron-filling state dared to be cocky in front of him. Seeing this, Hao Qiangying dazed again. She forgot to tell Yi Mo that this person was one of the three masters of the city. A powerful cauldron-filling state just below the city lord and association leader. How could someone like this be dealt with a fireball? But Yi Mo threw it out already. Seeing Yi Mo used a fireball at him, the cauldron-filling state laughed like Meng Guangji. Ever since he became a golden core state, he had never seen anyone use fireball at him. Today was quite fresh. Someone dared to use a fireball against a cauldron-filling state peak stage cultivator. There was such a joke in the world. But his ending was the same as Meng Guangji. He only laughed twice and stopped. Then he stared at Yi Mo with disbelief, but he could no longer speak. His body turned to dust in this small fireball. The few body condensation state cultivators next to him looked dazedly as the dust flew away, not daring to say a word. I'm going to leave the city. Call the Rune Master Association leader here. If by the time I get to the city gates he still isn't here, then he won't need to come ever. Yi Mo glanced at them and said. Yes, Qianbei. These cultivators reacted and quickly left. Hao Qiangying's heart was skipping fast. Before it was due to terror of the Rune Master Association, but now because Yi Mo easily burned a cauldron-filling state with a fireball. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2071 I like bullying the weak. Chapter 2071 I like bullying the weak. No one dared to stop them from walking out of this spirit rest tower. Before they got to the city gates, two more dashing lights came to the city gates. One was Truth Realization State Level 5 and the other was Disaster Transformation State Level 8. Yi Mo guessed that the Truth Realization State Level 5 was the association leader Duan Ganyuan. As for the other person, it was probably the city lord. Xinhai City Lord Gong Hong greet Qianbei. Please forgive me for not welcoming Qianbei into the city. The chubby Disaster Transformation State cultivator saw Yi Mo come over and immediately bowed. The Truth Realization State Middle Stage studied Yi Mo calmly. Yi Mo felt strange. The City Lord was a disaster transformation state and the association leader was a truth realization state. This disaster transformation state should be following Duan Ganyuan. But this disaster transformation state greeted him first and left Duan Ganyuan behind him. Duan Ganyuan didn't seem to be angry at all. Dao friend, I'm the association leader of the Rune Master Association Duan Ganyuan. I heard a few useless disciples tell me that Dao friend had business with me. Duan was scared that when I made it over, Dao friend was out of the city. Luckily I came in time. Duan Ganyuan saluted with his fists, seemingly scared. However, his horror was fake. His Kai was very calm and instead carried this sharp force on him as though he was ready to fight. Yimo didn't care about this attitude. He knew that this truth realization state and Rune Master didn't need to fear other people. Even if he was truth realization state tertiary stage, Duan Ganyuan didn't need to be fearful. You're right. If you came a little later you wouldn't need to come. Yimo said. Duan Ganyuan sneered. Dao friend came from the distant. Duan should be greeting you, but even if you're a truth realization state you can't just kill my disciple and a cauldron filling state of the Rune Master Association. I'm weak but not anyone can abuse me. I won't allow outsiders to bully the weak. Gong Hong said nothing and just stood on the side. Yimo walked up to Duan Ganyuan and patted his shoulder. You're right. I like abusing the weak. Of course I won't kill you yet because I have something for you to do. 14,000 kilometers west of the city, there's a subtle cultivation home hidden with a level 7 stealth formation. There are a few female cultivators locked up in there by your disciple Meng Guangji. Release their restriction and let them go. If I'm happy with what you did, I'll give you a quick one when you come back. Remember, I'm heading to the sect tournaments. He told Duan Ganyuan to go because Meng Guangji was Duan Ganyuan's disciple. Even if the female cultivators had some special restrictions placed on them, Yimo believed Duan Ganyuan would be able to open it. Gong Hong dazed. Yimo patted Duan Ganyuan's shoulder but Duan Ganyuan didn't move at all. At truth realization state, even ordinary friends wouldn't pat each other's shoulders like that, much less enemies. Duan Ganyuan was dazed too. He found that when Yimo's hand patted him, he couldn't move at all. Yimo patted his shoulder 3 times. The first pat patted his cultivation to cauldron filling state. The second pat cracked his Dan Tian open, the third pat cracked his meridians. Just as Yimo said, he wasn't killed because Yimo had something to do. Realizing his situation, Duan Ganyuan was so shocked he couldn't even speak. What cultivation level was this? Even truth realization state peak stage, cultivators who had passed immortal ascension divine damnation wouldn't be able to bind him this easily. Did you not hear what I said? Seeing Duan Ganyuan just stand there in shock and forget to reply, Yimo was annoyed. Wan Bei, heard it, Duan Ganyuan answered shakily. Yimo turned to Gong Hong City Lord Gong, I don't have time to go. You go with association leader Duan. If he does anything that's not in line with my order, kill him. Gong Hong had recovered. He felt Duan Ganyuan's cultivation level drow straight down. He could only force down his horror and shock as he bowed. Yes, Wan Bei will follow Qian Bei's order. Yimo nodded. In that case good. Qiangying and hurry, let's go. The reason he sent Gong Hong over was to help those few female cultivators. If he went, he would only be able to save them, but Gong Hong was the city lord. He could provide them cultivation grounds and stable cultivation resources. Yimo believed with Gong Hong's disaster transformation state brain that he would know what he meant. When Yimo released flying magic artifact and left the city, how Qiangying reacted and breathed easy. Clearly, Yimo was an insanely powerful being, otherwise, Duan Ganyuan wouldn't act like that. If someone like Yimo wanted to attack her, there was nothing she could do. Plus, from her time with Yimo, Martial brother Yi didn't seem like ordinary cultivators. She looked at the storage ring Yimo gave her. There was top-grade and extreme-grade spirit stones. There weren't many pills, but there were many spirit artifact. She didn't dare to take it before, but now it seemed these things were worthless to this Yi Qianbei. Qiangying, tell me about this sect tournament. Yimo put some extreme-grade spirit stones on the flying spirit artifact and asked. How Qiangying had guessed now that Yimo probably wasn't from the cultivation realm. She thought for a moment as she organized her words and said, Martial Brother Yi, Shincheong continent sects are divided by stars. The highest is 9-star sect. The lowest is 1-star. 1-star sects rarely take in disciples. They're usually small cultivation families. Yimo nodded. This was like the system Luo Yu continent used. As for the 10-star pill city, that was because it had too many pill master and truth realization states. The biggest secret realm of Shincheong realm Shin Truth Spirit Grounds open every millennia. There are limited spots each time. In order to better distribute the spots, the big sects would have a sect tournament every time before the secret realm opened. Because the spots are so precious, almost every sect would come. The sects would send their sect members to compete and get spots based on their results. Yimo realized, no wonder it went on for a month or two. Just how many people would be coming to such tournament? The sect tournament was very far from Xinhai City, but under Yimo's control the extreme-grade flying spirit artifact had surpassed low-grade immortal artifact. In less than half a day, Yimo saw the tournament scene with his spirit sense. How long till the tournament? Yimo looked at the densely cluttered cultivators. It spanned almost a few hundred kilometers. There were more merchant towers and marketplaces mixed within. In about 10 days. Hao Chongying quickly said. She saw the tournament grounds too. Yimo took out a storage ring and gave it to Hao Chongying. This is for you. Thanks for bringing me all this way. Thank you, Qian Bei. Hao Chongying quickly took the storage ring and thanked. Yimo liked Hao Chongying's straightforward attitude. He thought about it and said, Mu Xiaoyun is my wife. I'm going to Lotus Glory sect to see. If you want I can introduce you and your brother into the sect. Lotus Glory sect, that was the dream of every cultivator. How could Hao Chongying not want to go? She dazed for a moment and wanted to thank Yimo. At the same time, she thought, no wonder. Only someone like Martial Brother Yi deserved Goddess Mu. Yimo saw her face and knew she really wanted to go. He waved his hand. No need to thank me. I_LG to the main stage and ask about Wanqing. Afterwards, we'll go to Lotus Glory sect. Wait for me here. Then, Yimo dashed up and landed in the center stage amongst the millions of people. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2072 Find Kai Wanqing. Chapter 2072 Find Kai Wanqing. Shin Truth Spirit Grounds was the biggest secret realm of Shincheong continent. It had the most resources too. Sects big or small would come to this tournament regardless of how far they were. With all these sects here, of course there would be many truth realization states. There were even quite some truth realization state peak stages. As the main stage of the tournament, there were more than 20 truth realization states sitting here. No one would dare to come up without permission. As soon as Yimo landed on this stage, a few truth realization states surrounded him. This main stage was the place to announce the results. It was symbolic of the honor of all the sects on this continent. Otherwise, there wouldn't be 20 truth realization state cultivators sitting on the side of the stage to watch the tournament. Yimo, this unknown cultivator, dared to just charge up here was asking to die. When these truth realization state came up, they said nothing and just chose to attack. No matter what Yimo's motive was, good or bad, charging up the main stage like this was a huge mistake. Yimo sneered and waved his hand. These few truth realization state were held by this invisible power and thrown back to their seats. To outsiders, it seemed like these truth realization states got up and then wanted to sit back down. I'm borrowing the main stage. If you dare to be rude again I will kill you. Yimo said coldly. These few truth realization states shivered, even those truth realization states who didn't get up shivered. What master was this? Since when did the cultivation realm have such powerful master? He easily waved his hand and threw back a few truth realization states like this. Immediately, everyone realized that Yimo wasn't simple. The 20 or so truth realization states glanced at each other and didn't dare to talk. They all saw shock and disbelief in each other's eyes. They all thought of the one thing. This cultivator wasn't from the cultivation realm, nor did he hide his power. They really couldn't see his cultivation level. This person probably wasn't from the cultivation realm but from the immortal realm. Almost everyone saw Yi Mo on the stage. The main stage was so obvious and was usually used to announce important things and the tournament results. Now that Yi Mo appeared, he immediately caught everyone's attention. Yi Mo said loudly, "Dao friends from Shenqiong continent. I'm Yi Mo. Today I came here to find a friend. She's called Kai Wanqing. Everyone have a look at this image." Yi Mo's voice was heard even hundreds of kilometers away. He waved out Kai Wanqing's image and even drew little wolf on her shoulder. "Dao friends, if anyone knows where my friend is or can provide me with any clues, I can satisfy any wish you have in cultivation. I will be waiting at the main stage for 2 hours. Within this time, anyone who has news can come to me. Even if you want to join the best 9-star sect or truth carrot pill, I can satisfy you." At first the cultivators didn't know what Yi Mo's reward was, but when Yi Mo said that, the scene erupted. Truth carrot pill was pill for disaster transformation state to reach truth realization state. Yi Mo even had such pill, then wouldn't the rest of the pills be extremely easy? Immediately, everyone was asking about Kai Wanqing. Yi Mo then turned around and looked at the shocked 20 or so truth realization states. Seeing Yi Mo look at them, they quickly got up. Yi Mo stopped them from bowing. "Everyone sit down." After everyone sat down, Yi Mo asked who here is from Lotus Glory sect. A woman who seemed younger than 40 got up quickly and said, "Wn Bei Guangjie is from Lotus Glory sect. Please order anything Chen Bei." Guangjian felt nervous. Yi Mo's cultivation level was clearly above truth realization state level 9 peak. He was definitely an immortal. In the cultivation realm, although immortals rarely came to the cultivation realm, but there were some. There were immortals coming back in the legends, but when their power would be suppressed to be just one level above truth realization state. However, Yi Mo's power was clear many levels above truth realization state. Yi Mo nodded. "Sit down. I want to ask you, did Mu Xiaoyun ascend from Lotus Glory sect?" "Yes, Chen Bei, Elder Mu is our Lotus Glory sect member." "Chen Bei," Guangjie said worriedly. Mu Xiaoyun had already ascended and this Chen Bei was clearly an immortal. Did he come to find Mu Xiaoyun? Did something happen to her in the immortal realm? Did he come to get revenge from Lotus Glory sect? Mu Xiaoyun had always been very kind. Yi Mo was a bit lost, as though remembering the days he was with Mu Xiaoyun. After a while, he recovered. "Tell me about how Mu Xiaoyun joined the sect and what she did at the sect." Guangjie agreed and recounted the process of Mu Xiaoyun joining the sect in detail. When Mu Xiaoyun came to the continent, she encountered the sect members' intake. She had joined a sect once before and knew that joining a sect in this strange place could get her protection. She was lucky to be chosen by the sect as she was a pure wood spirit root. She was treated like a treasure. Mu Xiaoyun didn't defy everyone's hopes and soon ascended to the immortal realm, becoming the second most talented person on the continent in 1,000 years. Mu Xiaoyun's master, Guang Lai's martial sister, ascended to the immortal realm decades ago. Hearing Mu Xiaoyun's glory on the continent, Yi Mo felt happy for her. He got up and bowed to Guangjie. "I'll thank the sect for Xiaoyun. Chen Bei, I don't care to accept this." Guangjie quickly got up. Even an idiot could tell that Yi Mo was close to Mu Xiaoyun. She suddenly remembered her martial sister say that Xiaoyun was looking for her husband. Was this Yi Mo Xiaoyun's husband in the mortal realm? How was this possible? "No, you deserve it. Xiaoyun is my wife. I'm very grateful that Lotus Glory sect cared for Xiaoyun. I will go visit the place Xiaoyun lived at after this and then set up a sect protection formation that even immortals can't break open for the Lotus Glory sect." Yi Mo said seriously. Guangjie was dazed. Yi Mo was indeed Xiaoyun's husband, but what did he say afterwards? He would set up a formation that even immortals can't break through? Was he stronger than immortals? How was this possible? Guangjie was struck by huge bliss. The nearby truth realization states heard this. Yi Mo said he would set up a sect protection formation that even immortals can't break. This meant that Yi Mo was at least an immortal and not an ordinary one. Realizing this, everyone looked at Guangjie with envy. When Yi Mo went to the sect, anything he took out would make the already very strong Lotus Glory sect even stronger. Thank you Qian Bei. Guangjie woke up. She was a little dazed from Tiech's huge bliss. Don't call me Qian Bei. Xiaoyun is Lotus Glory sect's disciple, just call me Yi Mo. Yi Mo sighed. Yi Mo glanced around at the extremely respectful cultivators and thought before saying, everyone probably knows I'm from the immortal realm. I actually came down by accident. I have a sect in the immortal realm called Mo Yu Immortal Sect. If you guys have nowhere to go in the immortal realm, you can come to my Mo Yu Immortal Sect. Thank you Yi Qian Bei. The rest of the truth realization states got up in joy and bowed to Yi Mo. Only after they reached the immortal realm would they know what Mo Yu Immortal Sect meant. Yi Mo didn't stop them this time. He intentionally said this to help Lotus Glory sects get some allies. He believed that after saying this, even if some sects were jealous of Lotus Joy sect, they wouldn't join up against them. By the way, I brought 2 friends over. One is called Hao Qiangying and her brother is called Yu Heri. Take them here. After I'm done with things, I need to leave Shenqiong continent. After I do, take them into your sect. Yi Mo said. Yes, Yi, Qian Bei. Guangjie hesitated and still called Yi Qian Bei. Then, she flew off the main stage and went to find the 2. When Yi Mo said he was looking for Kai Wanqing, a pretty woman at a distant square looked dazedly at Yi Mo. Her face was pretty but couldn't resist the corrosion of time. She looked down and rubbed her eyes before slowly walking out. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2073 News of Kai Wanqing. Chapter 2073 News of Kai Wanqing. She recognized Yi Mo, but she felt she didn't have the face to see him. Mu Xiaoyun, who came to the Shenqiong continent with her, was extremely famous, but she couldn't even join a sect. She didn't think about finding Xiaoyun as she didn't have the face. Grandma Feng took Xiaoyun to the teleportation formation in that hole not because of goodwill. If Yi Mo didn't give Xiaoyun a protection measure, she would have been killed by Elder Feng. Grandma Feng was the backup of Ice Lake and her elder. As the sect leader of Ice Lake, she couldn't avoid things. Regardless, she had great relations with Grandma Feng. Grandma Feng pretty much died to Yi Mo's hands. Regardless, she didn't want to see Yi Mo nor think of the past. She was also sad thinking about the Marshall brothers and sisters that got lost coming to this world. She was pretty much alone in this world. Elan, the tournament isn't over yet. Where are you going? A female cultivator who looked older than Ji Elan stopped her. So what if it ended? So what if it didn't? I've thought it through. I have no chance entering the Shen Truth Spirit grounds. I might as well leave. Ji Elan sighed. Yi Mo could probably see her with spirit sense, but he wouldn't be able to recognize her, but staying here made her feel bad. Guangjie took the excited Hao Qiangying and Yu Heri over. Before Guangjie said anything, Hao Qiangying was extremely thankful. Yi Mo left her with top-grade spirit stones and extreme-grade spirit artifacts. Now she was taken into 9-star sect Lotus Glory sect and became the personal disciple of the Truth Realization State Elder Guangjie. This was an honor amongst honor. I've already taken the 2 to be my personal disciples, please rest assured Qian Bei. Guangjie said. The rest of the Truth Realization State saw this and all came congratulate. They even took out gifts to Hao Qiangying and Yu Heri. The discussion was heated. There were people managing the stages, so these Truth Realization State surrounded Yi Mo and asked all sorts of questions. After 2 hours, Yi Mo no longer had the mood. There was no news about Kai Wanqing. Just when Yi Mo was about to leave, a Truth Realization State level 9 got up and bowed. Yi Qian Bei, why don't you wait 2 days here? I'll publish the search for Goddess Wanqing. I believe as long as she once appeared on this continent she would be found. Yi Mo thought about it and nodded. Okay, I'll wait another 2 days. Yi Mo needed another month to scan his spirit sense over the entire continent. 2 days later, there was no news of Kai Wanqing, but Gong Hong came to see Yi Mo alone. When he came up and saw the tens of truth realization states could only sit on Yimo's side, he knew that Yimo was very extraordinary. Duan Ganyuan didn't come? Yimo asked. Gong Hong quickly said after he handed over the saved female cultivators, he left. He didn't resist, so I didn't kill him. Yimo nodded. That will do, thank you. It's an honor to do things for Qian Bei. Is there anything else Qian Bei needs me to do? Gong Hong asked. Nothing else, but any cultivator crawled up from the bottom. It's true that power is everything in the cultivation realm, but Xinhai City is yours. Helping out ordinary cultivators is also adding a line of hope for your Dao. Yimo said. Yimo didn't bullshit. As a Dao molding divine emperor, he knew that Dao vindication wasn't just about carnage and power. When everything you did came from the bottom of your heart and you could face it, then you can talk about Dao vindication. Otherwise, you can only vindicate Dao through other means and vindicate small Dao. Yes, WN Bei will remember this. Gong Hong answered. After Gong Hong left, Yimo got up and saluted with his fists to the truth realization states. I'm going. If you guys have any news of Kai Wanqing, please send it to Lotus Glory Sect. Then, Yimo took out tens of low-grade defense immortal artifacts and said, I have some low-grade defense immortal artifacts, take one each. These were really useless to Yimo. His body was much stronger than low-grade defense immortal artifact, but this was the cultivation realm. Anything immortal artifact was the best. Plus, it was difficult for truth realization state to use top-grade immortal artifacts. The reason he took out defense immortal artifacts was because he didn't want to take out a bunch of offensive immortal artifacts and cause rivers of blood. Seeing Yimo take out this many immortal artifacts in one go, how could the truth realization states not be happy? They all got up to thank Yimo. Many 9-star sects didn't have an immortal artifact. These immortal artifact could immediately be taken back as the sect protection treasure. At this moment, a messenger flying sword landed in a middle-aged truth realization state. That truth realization state looked at it and immediately sent the message over to Yimo in surprise and joy. Yi Qian Bei, there's news of Wanqing goddess. Yimo grabbed the message in excitement and scanned this message quickly. He soon got news of Kai Wanqing. She was at a place a few million miles away called Tup Mi Town. There was a golden core state female who said she knew Kai Wanqing. The distance was too far, so she asked if Kai Wanqing should be brought over or if Yimo would go over. Yimo quickly put the messenger flying sword away and said to the middle-aged truth realization state, thank you very much. Do you have a map? The truth realization state forced down his excitement and took out a map jade slip and marked a line and then passed it to Yimo. I've marked the location of the Tuor Mi town. Qian Bei just needs to go that way. He knew that the reason Yimo asked for the map was to help him. Yimo glanced at the map and said to Guangjie, I'm going to find my friend. I'll come to Lotus Glory Sect after. Goodbye for now. Then, Yimo said goodbye and his figure dimmed down. There was disappointment in the truth realization state's eyes. Yimo didn't leave him anything, but before he finished the thought, Yimo's voice sounded by his ear, I've left some things in your storage ring, good luck. The truth realization state quickly scanned his spirit sense into his storage ring. There was 100 crystals with extremely dense immortal spirit Kai. Just scanning his spirit sense through these immortal crystals made him feel his cultivation level about to break through. His heart skipped crazily. This was definitely immortal crystals, and there were even immortal pills and a good flying immortal artifact next to it. He made it. He suppressed his joy and wanted to immediately take out these things and check them one by one. But he knew that Yi Qian Bei didn't give it to him straight away to protect him. If he took it out now, he would be an idiot. Tuor Mi town was extremely far and didn't have a lot of spirit Kai. It was a gathering place for solo cultivators. They were gathered here because of Tuor Mi mountain ranges. It ranged for a few million kms and had many ancient ruins inside. Many ancient cultivators liked to go here for solitary cultivation, and many people couldn't come out. There were also all sorts of spirit beasts and spirit herbs. If you were lucky, you could even find 1 or 2 spirit ranges. That's why this place was so attractive to solo cultivators. Of course, there was more dangers inside. The ranges wasn't very long for high-level cultivators, but rarely could people cross the entire mountain range. Even the top flying magic artifact can't safely fly past the depth of the ranges. Plus, ordinary magic artifact can't even fly in the depth. In an ordinary spirit rest tower, a light green-robed woman sat in a corner in anxiety. She didn't dare to leave as the Duan Kongling Island people told her to wait here for a very powerful Qian Bei. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2074 Nightmare. Chapter 2074 Nightmare. Liu Zhai, I have a good deal here, do you want to take it? A sharp voice sounded by the green-robed female cultivator's ear. The person talking was extremely robust. If one didn't hear his voice, one would never believe such a man spoke this sharply. This female cultivator looked at this man and shook her head. Brother Chow, I won't go. I have other things, you Guzari go first. Brother Chow laughed. Liu Zhai, just listen to me. There's nothing more important than this. I said I've already arranged to meet someone. Liu Zhai frowned. The male cultivator asked, who did you arrange to meet? I'll help you push it off. She arranged to meet me. Yi Mo's voice sounded. Hearing this, Liu Zhai immediately stood up in shock. She got news that Yi Mo was more than a few million kms away. There was no way he was here in such a short time. If what the people from Duan Kongling Island said was true, then this Qian Bei was too scary. Who the fuck are you? The Chow guy just said these words and felt his body go light. Then, he was thrown out. When he landed, he found he was face down on the ground in a small gully outside the town. He got up in terror and quickly released his flying magic artifact and fled. He didn't dare to come into this town again. This person easily threw a golden core state peak stage like him out of the town. What power was this? He had never heard of such master. You're Liu Zhai? Yi Mo suppressed his excitement and set up a sound barrier restriction as he sat opposite her. Yes, Qian Bei, WN Bei is Liu Zhai. Liu Zhai resisted her shock and terror. Yi Mo easily threw Chow Wenming out. Such power was unheard of. I'm Yi Mo, I'm Kai Wanqing's friend. Tell me where she is. Yi Mo asked. Liu Zhai looked experienced. Her look was ordinary, but her eyes were extremely pretty. Liu Zhai showed a disappointed look and bowed. So Qian Bei is Yi Mo. Wanqing had mentioned Qian Bei more than once. She said she came to find Qian Bei, but she never was able to. Sigh, seeing this, Yi Mo's heart sunk. He had a bad feeling. Liu Zhai, tell me where she is now. Wanqing had been with me. We've been striving in to or mi mountain ranges. It's tiring, but we both reached golden core state. Wanqing's talent was much better than mine. If she didn't use most of her earnings to buy face-preserving pills, she might even be hollow spirit state now. Yi Mo really wanted to listen to Wanqing's experiences, but he still interrupted Liu Zhai and said, tell me this later. Where is she now? Wanqing is gone. Liu Zhai felt Yi Mo's desperation and worry. Suddenly, she felt Wanqing didn't wait for nothing. What? Yi Mo's face went pale and even his head became a little dizzy. He could long feel Kai Wanqing's feelings for him at the forest in the border. When he heard that Kai Wanqing came out of the Xinjiao mountain teleportation formation, Yi Mo guessed that she was probably looking for him. When he saw Su Jingwen was almost dead. But he didn't have that much luck this time. Liu Zhai sighed and said sadly, 50 years ago, Wanqing and I joined up to search a ruin, but we saw an almost level 7 one-eyed wolf. We fled and got lost in the ranges. When we woke up, we had come to the most dangerous part of the ranges, to or mi snow plateau. Wanqing died there. My capabilities were limited and I couldn't even bring her body back. Yi Mo clenched his fists. He felt he owed Kai Wanqing. If it wasn't due to him, Kai Wanqing wouldn't die in a foreign place, she would age and die like a normal person on Earth with her family. He thought of the snowy day he saw Su Jingwen. Did Kai Wanqing feel lonely roaming here alone? Did she hope to get home before she died? At this moment, she felt the terror and loneliness Kai Wanqing had here. Liu Zhai could feel Yi Mo shaking. She could even feel Yi Mo's Kai become unstable. Just when she wanted to persuade Yi Mo, She felt a chaotic kai strike her chest and she couldn't resist, spitting a mouthful of blood. Yimo suddenly woke up and quickly collected his kai and took out a pill to her. Sorry, I lost control. Liu Zhai forced a smile. It's okay. Then, she ate the pill Yimo gave her, but she was more shocked at Yimo's power. What cultivation level was this? Just a casual kai flowing out from him seriously injured her. When she ate that pill, all her injuries were gone and even the pill poison piled up in her body disappeared. All her previous subtle injuries were gone. She was truly shocked. What pill was this? It was definitely beyond level 9 spirit pill. Seeing Liu Zhai calm down, Yimo asked Liu Zhai, how did Wanqing die? Liu Zhai recounted, we were lost in the Tuor-Mi snow plateau. There were avalanches and snow ditches everywhere. We couldn't release our flying magic artifact nor use any mobility technique. We had to carefully find our way out. However, Wanqing misstepped and was devoured by the snow whirlpool. In my sorrow, I knew there was nothing I could do other than keep walking out. Perhaps I was destined to not die. When I got out of the snow plateau, I saw a disaster transformation state Qianbei and he took me outside the mountains ranges. Yimo suddenly got up and said, Liu Zhai, please take me to that snow plateau. I will definitely pay you back. Liu Zhai dazed. Even if Yimo was truth realization state, he would be in danger to go there. I promise you won't get hurt. Yimo added. Liu Zhai immediately said firmly, I went in there with Wanqing and I came out alone. Even now, I still miss here. What do I have to fear going there again? Okay, let's go now. Yimo immediately got up. Liu Zhai stood on the blue moon and felt Yimo was very extraordinary. This flying magic artifact fused into the void and left no trace. What flying magic artifact was this? Yimo released Blue Moon to get there faster. Blue Moon was the top flying immortal artifact even in the immortal realm. It used less than 5 minutes to get to the Tuor-Mi mountain ranges, and this was Yimo purposely slowing down. The mountain ranges twisted and turned. It was boundless. Even though Liu Zhai stayed here for a few hundred years, she couldn't recognize any corner. But with Yimo, she didn't need to worry about being ambushed by spirit beasts. She soon found the path. She entered the ranges with Kai Wanqing. Liu Zhai's heart skipped fast. This was her first time seeing someone could fly in the Tuor-Mi mountain ranges. Qianbei, we need to go down or I won't be able to know the way. Liu Zhai said. Yimo nodded and got off Blue Moon. Liu Zhai didn't go fast, but she didn't forget the path. Half a day later, Liu Zhai stopped at a spot where a few valleys were entwined and pointed at a valley. Yi Qianbei. Yimo interrupted her. Liu Zhai, you're friends with Wanqing, so we're friends. Don't call me Qianbei, call me Brother Yi. Yes, Brother Yi. Liu Zhai said. What were you going to say? Yimo asked. Liu Zhai quickly continued, Brother Yi, we accidentally came here before and saw a wolf that was almost level 7. It was due to that wolf that we were forced into the snow plateau. Yimo stared at the valley and his eyes went cold and sharp. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2075 Void Pin. Chapter 2075 Void Pin. Yimo's spirit sense just scanned in and a tall dark grey figure appeared in his spirit sense. Grr, that's it, it's already level 7. Although Liu Zhai knew that Yimo was probably not scared of this level 7 wolf, she was still nervous. The wolf looked 3 meters tall and only had one eye that shot out dark red beams. The eye didn't charge over as Liu Zhai thought. Instead, it stared at Yimo carefully, clearly sensing Yimo wasn't ordinary. Yimo suddenly grabbed at his side. A huge rock shot into Yimo's hands. The wolf subconsciously retreated a few meters, but it soon stopped as though feeling that even if Yimo threw the rock at him, it wouldn't affect him at all. Liu Zhai also stared at Yimo in shock. She didn't understand why Yimo grabbed the stone. Could stones kill a level 7 spirit beast? Yimo ignored her and threw out a ball of flame. The huge stone was instantly turned into 10 rock spears. When Liu Zhai's spirit sense scanned the 5 rock spears, she opened her mouth wide in shock. Those spears were already spirit artifact. Was her eyes blind? If any rock on the side of the road could be turned into spirit artifact in the matter of seconds, then spirit artifacts would be all over this world. The wolf clearly wasn't dumb. When it stared at the spears, instant second eyes instantly narrowed. At the same time, he turned. But then, the wolf saw that it couldn't even more much less turn. It had some intelligence. The dark red was gone in instant second eyes. Instead, it was filled with horror. It kept making whimpering sounds as though begging for mercy. Yemo's 5 spears suddenly shot out. The wolf seemed to have been pulled up into the air as the 5 spears penetrated it in the air. There was no support, the 5 spears just pinned the wolf in the air. Blood fell along the spear tip to the ground. The wolf howled in pain. Liu Zhai forgot to even talk. She guessed that the wolf would be no match for Yemo, but it couldn't even resist at all and was nailed in mid-air. Even truth realization state Qian Bei wouldn't have such crazy acts. Why didn't that wolf fall? Where was the 5 spears locked onto? Yemo suddenly said, once your cultivation reaches a certain level, any void can be seen. If you're willing, you can tear open void and head to another void. It's too early for you, but sooner or later you will understand. Let's go now, take me to the snow plateau. This wolf hunted Wanqing, it can wait to die. Yes. Liu Zhai didn't understand what Yemo said at all. But she knew Yemo's power was probably beyond some truth realization state peak stages. Seeing this, Liu Zhai felt more secure and she sped up. Even so, Yemo felt she was too slow. He couldn't calm down before he found where Kai Wanqing went missing, so he put his hand on her waist and said, "You point the way, I'll take you." Liu Zhai had been alone all these years and had never had a man hold her waist. When Yemo held her, her body went tense, but she soon understood that Yemo wasn't trying to take advantage of her. With Yemo's help, they sped up quickly. Liu Zhai felt that as long as she pointed the way, she could fly in the ranges and she didn't encounter a single spirit beast nor those gravity whirlpools. As Liu Zhai got used to this speed, she felt Yemo send her essence Kai. That slightly warm essence Kai went into her meridians, picking up her speed and make her feel something else. This feeling became more and more real as she flew. Eventually she felt her legs go soft and breathing become heavier. At this moment, a boundless snow plateau appeared before them. Yemo let go of Liu Zhai and asked, "Is this the snow plateau?" Liu Zhai stumbled and almost fell to the ground, but she quickly covered this up and said awkwardly, "Yes, it's here. This is the border of the Tuor-Mi snow plateau. We went in from here and went straight." After about half a day, Wanqing was swept away by the snow whirlpool. Liu Zhai calmed down and there was a sliver of sadness in her tone. Yemo nodded and took out a cultivation home magic artifact. "Stay in here and wait for me. I'm going in to find Wanqing. Remember, even if level 9 spirit beast or truth realization state cultivator comes, they wouldn't be able to do anything to you as long as you don't leave this cultivation home." "I understand," Liu Zhai said. Yemo gave her a storage ring. "There's some spirit stones and pills. You can break through to nascent soul here. No one will disturb you." Yemo had dashed into the snow plateau already. The pills inside were made by small ginseng. Small ginseng couldn't concoct immortal pill but could concoct some spirit pills. As for outside the cultivation home, Yemo set up an immortal formation for recognizing Liu Zhai's Kai. Seeing Yemo disappear, Liu Zhai shook her head. Yemo's cultivation level was top level, but he didn't understand how hard it was for low-level cultivators to reach nascent soul. It wasn't just a matter of spirit stones. But she was hopeful of Yemo's storage ring. When she scanned her spirit sense in, she almost dropped the storage ring. This storage ring was too insane. There was a bottle of Cow Huan pill. That was a grade 1 heaven pill. Cow Huan pill was used to break through to nascent soul. Even one would need her to work for countless years, but there was an entire bottle here. Nascent essence pill, blue carrot pill, hollow meridian pill, break spirit pill. She was completely dumb and even forgot there were stacks of spirit stones. With this many cultivation resources, she didn't need to stay at Tuor-Mi mountain ranges. Yeah, break through to nascent soul. Liu Zhai couldn't resist it anymore and quickly got ready for solitary cultivation. The Tuor-Mi snow plateau had boundless snow peaks, snow ditches and cliffs. The bigger danger here was gravity. Even truth realization state can't fly here. If one sunk into a snow whirlpool, he would have to climb up slowly. When Yimo charged into the plane, his spirit sense spread out all over. His spirit sense had recovered to 50,000 kilometers range. If his spirit sense completely recovered now, he would grab this entire snow plateau and melt it. A few million kilometers of snow was no bigger than a palm for a Tao-molding divine emperor. A pretty woman saw Yimo dashing around in the snow plateau. Next to her was a handsome male cultivator. They stood there as though there was no danger. Clearly, they were truth realization state. This person's power is so high. He can walk like he's flying, the handsome male cultivator exclaimed. Her, martial brother Jiaqing. He went into the snow plains, the pretty woman said in amazement. But soon, Yimo dashed into a snow valley and disappeared from their spirit sense. Yimo saw the two truth realization state, but he didn't care. With Yimo going around so quick, snow mists, avalanches and whirlpools increased. Even these two truth realization states had to move away from Yimo's place. Yuyi, let's go, it's probably a truth realization state peak stage master. The handsome man said. The female shook her head. Wait, I want to see such master. The man cared about the woman a lot and said nothing. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2076 I'm really lonely. Chapter 2076 I'm really lonely. Yimo searched in a larger and larger area on the snow. He didn't want to give up any corner. 2 days' time, Yimo had never relaxed at all. He even set aside recovering. Yuyi, let's go. This person has been searching underground for 2 days. The male cultivator said, but they were resting in a cultivation home magic artifact. Yuyi frowned and said in annoyance, martial brother Jiaqing, you can go first, no need to wait for me. Seeing that the female cultivator was really angry, Jiaqing quickly apologized and didn't dare to say anything anymore. Yimo stared dazedly at the bottom of the valley where it was ice on all sides. He was shaking. Ever since he cultivated, it was his first time he felt so powerless. He couldn't even make a step out. 3 meters in front of him was Kai Wanqing sitting with her eyes open. She seemed to be saying something, but her body was now lifeless. Yimo struggled and knelt on one knee in front of her and touched her face. Her looks looked exactly the same as before. Yimo suddenly felt there was something stuck in his throat. Kai Wanqing still looked the same clearly because she didn't freeze to death. When she fell in here, she probably knew that she would never be able to go out and new cultivation was impossible down here. She would eventually freeze to death by this icy cold, so she ended her own life at her prime and used her life force to preserve her face. Yimo remembered to the time when he first saw her. Brother Yi. I'll take it off myself, I didn't bring pants. Brother Yi, I want to ask you to help me with something. She wanted to help him find a job but was scared she would hurt his self-esteem. No, the next time I see it I will still stop it. If you're poisoned, it would be over, but if I'm poisoned perhaps you can save me. Brother Yi, I don't understand these things. You saved me, I just don't want you to be bitten by the snake. If it happens again I will still do the same. The scenes with Kai Wanqing gradually cleared up in Yimo's mind. He couldn't give her what she wanted. Yimo's hands slowly caressed Kai Wanqing's hair and his eyes fell on the wall next to her. There were some words: if you find me here one day, please take me back to see my parents and then place me next to where you live. That way I can see you every day. If one day you really came to see me, do you still remember the hairbrush I gave you? I've always hoped you could brush my hair with that brush. If you came, I want to tell you that I'm really lonely. Yimo felt the tip of his nose go sour. He suddenly realized he owed her this much without him even noticing. He felt Kai Wanqing's painting like beauty. How could Yimo not know that Kai Wanqing preserved her looks for him? She trusted that he would be able to find her one day. Yimo took out a wooden brush. There was still a phone number on it. Kai Wanqing left it for him. He picked the brush up and carefully brushed Kai Wanqing's long hair. His movements were dumb as he rarely did this, but he tried to be gentle. Yimo finally couldn't hold it anymore as his eyes teared. The tear fell on Kai Wanqing's black hair. At this moment, he suddenly realized that even though he vindicated Dao, he still couldn't see his own emotional world straight. Kai Wanqing closed her eyes slowly as though her final wish had been fulfilled. Wanqing, Yimo said, he could feel his hands shake heavily. I'm really lonely. Yimo could imagine how lost and alone she was when she wrote this down. Yimo suddenly felt very grateful to Liu Zhai. At least when Wanqing was striving on here, Liu Zhai accompanied her. Sometimes, death wasn't scary, but that endless loneliness and yearning was a torture for Kai Wanqing. Wanqing, you can stay with me no matter how long. Yimo took out the chaos tree. He knew that even this tree couldn't revive her, but he still said to Chaos Tree, I want to borrow a branch of yours. Wanqing did this for me. No matter what the future is, I hope there is a tree of life branch with her forever. As though understanding this, the chaos tree wobbled, then a 20 centimeters branch fell into Yimo's hands. Yimo carefully placed this branch in Kai Wanqing's hands. Only now did he find a small lump next to her which had an icy tablet, Little Wolf's Tomb. Yimo saw this and felt sad again. Wanqing had no friends coming to this continent, only the little wolf he gave her, and now it was dead too. Yimo carried up Kai Wanqing and stood for a long time before waving his hand a few times. As he moved, the entire valley and icy wall was brought up and completely put into the Golden Page world. With this large area being taken away by Yimo, the entire plateau erupted. Avalanches set off like crazy as snow whirlpools were created. That female cultivator stared at this chaotic snow plateau in shock. Just what is he doing? Why did it cause such a big commotion? At this moment, she and the man quickly retreated. Even though they were truth realization state, they couldn't do anything in this situation. Before the male cultivator could answer, a figure howled as he charged out of the snow. He's carrying a female cultivator. The truth realization state man finally saw clearly. However, there was a female cultivator in his hands and she seemed lifeless. Such power! The truth realization state stared at Yimo in shock and fervor. The entire snow plains was raging like a storm, but Yimo stood just 100 meters above the snow wave unaffected at all. He can fly on the 2 or mi snow plains? The man was shocked. The female cultivator is lifeless, but the branch in her hands emits life force like I've never seen before. Perhaps the entire cultivation realm doesn't have something as good as this. Yui finally moved her eyes from Yimo. She admired and liked those young and powerful cultivators and liked unique treasures even more. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2077 Divine Tao Rebirth. Chapter 2077 Divine Tao Rebirth. The long howl stopped, but the snow waves didn't. The sky seemed to have been invaded by this rolling snow and affected by Yimo's melancholic mourn. It started to snow. Yimo stood and didn't move until lightning howled over from the distance. He suddenly woke up and carefully put Kai Wanqing under the bitter bamboo. When he left the mountain ranges, he would make the prettiest place for Kai Wanqing to stay. There was a Luo Yin in the Golden Page world too. He was planning to give her back to her sect, to her brother. But Kai Wanqing was different. He knew her feelings and she was going to stay with him in the Golden Page world forever. It was because of this that he planned to use the best materials to build a place for Kai Wanqing. He would plant flowers around it personally. He knew her soul was gone, but he put a branch in her hand just so her life force can be forever preserved, hoping that one day the tree of life's life force would see into her body. After sending Kai Wanqing into the Golden Page world, he looked at the direction of the lightning. He guessed that Liu Zhai was having her divine damnation. Yimo was very grateful to her for staying with Kai Wanqing. He would go protect her and ask her if she wanted to join Lotus Glory sect. Yimo left the snow, and as soon as he came to the border, a red figure flew over. Yimo stopped. He knew these two. They were standing on the side when he was searching for Kai Wanqing. Martial brother, hello, I'm Hong Yuyi. I'm amazed by your temperament. May I know Marshall Brother's name? The female truth realization state cultivator said. I'm Yi Mo. Yi Mo said plainly. After hearing this, Hong Yui said happily, Brother Yi, I'm really happy that I can get to know you. Do you have time? I want to ask you a few questions privately. Yi Mo dazed. He thought of the times Kai Wanqing called him brother. Hong Yui's brother was so fake, but Wanqing's brother would be never heard again. Brother Yi. Seeing Yi Mo go into a day, Hong Yui moaned again. There seemed to be embarrassment on her face. Yi Mo glanced at the truth realization state male behind her. Without needing to ask, he knew that these two were probably a couple. Seeing Yi Mo frown at Marshall Brother Jiaqing, Hong Yui suddenly felt that she shouldn't have brought Marshall Brother Jiaqing here. This might cause a misunderstanding. She quickly turned around and said, Marshall Brother Jiaqing, go out first. I need to talk with Brother Yi. There was a sliver of disgust in Yi Mo's eyes. He felt this Hong Yui was so fake. She was indeed pretty, but he disliked such woman the most. Yi Mo actually misunderstood this Hong Yui. She really liked Yi Mo on first sight, but she was like this to any handsome, powerful male cultivator, even the Marshall Brother Jiaqing next to her. If she saw anyone better than the one she was with, she would immediately like that person. Seeing Yi Mo was stronger than her partner, she immediately wanted to switch. Yui, the male cultivator, didn't want to leave but was scared of the female cultivator and called out timidly. Hong Yui frowned and said, Why do you always follow me? What do you want with me? Just say it here. Yi Mo forced his temper down. Brother Yi, I want to talk to you alone. Hong Yui blushed. She felt that every time she changed a guy, it was a new love experience. She loved this feeling. Piss off. Yi Mo sneered and couldn't be bothered talking to this Hong Yui. Hong Yui's face went pale as snow. She was pretty and had powerful background. No one has ever dared to say piss off to her. Seeing Yi Mo leave, she came to her sense and called out to that Marshall Brother Jiaqing, hurry up and bring him here and teach him a lesson. Hurry. But Jiaqing was a truth realization state, but he grew up without facing the harsh world. He didn't feel Yi Mo did anything wrong. Plus, he didn't feel he was a match for Yi Mo. Seeing Marshall Brother Jiaqing not move, Hong Yui sneered, okay, from now on, no, I'll go immediately. Marshall Brother Jiaqing dashed and chased away at Yi Mo. Yi Mo just stared at this truth realization state and said, are all the female cultivators on Shincheong continent dead? You actually like such a trash? Then, Yi Mo disappeared. The truth realization state dazed their thinking about what Yi Mo said. In the depth of the mountain ranges, there was a furious howl that was extremely powerful. The intense killing intent interrupted the man's thoughts. He looked at the depth of the Tuor Mi mountain ranges in terror. How is the level 10 Wolf King startled? In the endless void between the immortal realm and cultivation realm, an ordinary asteroid suddenly cracked. Endless flames erupted from the asteroid and a completely naked man stood in the flames. Everyone thought I would gather my soul in the immortal realm, but I think you guys didn't expect me to be reborn in flames between the immortal realm and cultivation realm. You guys aren't enough to kill me, Truth Divine Emperor. Just wait for me to go find you one by one. Ha 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 ha, the man laughed. This man was Truth Divine Emperor. He never died. His body just crippled. He knew the other divine emperors wouldn't let him rebirth so easily, so he gave up a strand of soul, creating countless ghost ships in the immortal realm void. Meanwhile, he used a rune to leave the immortal realm and cultivate divine Tao rebirth in the void. He had long gotten this cultivation method, but he couldn't make up the mind to cultivate it, as in order to cultivate this, one must give up his original power and body. That time, he was ambushed and his body crippled. This made him make up the mind to cultivate this cultivation method. Even so, he still set up all sorts of other things to make the other divine emperors think he just wanted to gather his soul and rebirth. He even threw most of his things in a cultivation realm. After rebirth, he realized how terrifying this divine Tao rebirth was. His body was rebuilt and he already had power equal to that of his prime. Once his cultivation level stabled, he would be easily able to break through to Tao actualization divine emperor. He waved his hand and grabbed a few asteroids. They were soon turned into a set of clothes. How is my immortal carnage tower in the immortal realm? Truth Divine Emperor immediately sensed the tower in Yimo's hands. His tower was spirit-controlled. Luckily he left marks in there. The tower was extremely important to him. He immediately wanted to go take it back, but the instant he moved, his face changed again and he murmured the Chaos Tree Kai actually appeared in a cultivation realm. He laughed hysterically again. The Chaos Tree Kai is actually in the cultivation realm, haha. He was certain that other people could feel it too, but by the time he went to the cultivation realm and took the tree, other people were probably thinking about how to head to the cultivation realm. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2078 Roaring Wolf King. Chapter 2078 Roaring Wolf King. When Yimo saw Liu Zhai, she had already passed her final divine damnation. Although her armor was smashed apart, Yimo gave her a few extreme-grade spirit artifact so she had minimal injuries. Liu Zhai just quickly stabilized her cultivation level and came up to Yimo. She was filled with joy. She had always dreamed of reaching nascent soul and now it was realized. Brother Yi, thank you. Liu Zhai couldn't express her joy. Congratulations, Liu Zhai, change your clothes and then we'll go out. Yimo felt happy for her too, but he really couldn't bring up his mood. Liu Zhai thought of what Yimo went to do and subconsciously asked Brother Yi, did you find Wanqing? Yimo nodded yes, thanks for telling me about her. Seeing Yimo's look, Liu Zhai knew that Wanqing was probably no longer alive. She said in self-reproach, sorry Brother Yi, I wasn't able to find her. This has nothing to do with you. Yimo said sadly. Liu Zhai wasn't able to help Kai Wanqing at all. Those who could help Wanqing from down there had to be at least disaster transformation state tertiary stage and must have some luck. Liu Zhai silently went in and changed her clothes, but Yimo's thoughts were focused. Liu Zhai soon changed her clothes and came out of the cultivation home mansion. Just when Yimo was going to put it away, he felt something wrong. His cultivation home magic artifact was attacked from the outside. He set up immortal crystals and the level was very high, so the attacks didn't do much to the formation. He didn't believe Liu Zhai would attack the place she cultivated. Liu Zhai, did someone come and attack here? Yimo immediately asked. No, I had been cultivating inside. I didn't feel any attacks. Liu Zhai said. Yimo knew she was in solitary cultivation and didn't sense the attacks from outside. His formation was too high level. Even if a truth realization state primary stage came to attack it, the people inside wouldn't be affected. Was this place attacked? Liu Zhai asked. Yimo nodded yes, definitely, but the formation's level is too high and the attacker didn't open it, so he left. He probably went back for him. We can ignore him, let's go out first. There was another roar with fury. The depth of the Tuor Mi mountain ranges swept over a rotting scent. Brother Yi, it seems to be the level 10 Tuor Mi mountain ranges Wolf King. Seeing that Yimo didn't seem to hear it, Liu Zhai said shakily. The level 10 Wolf King was very powerful. It said even a few truth realization state level 9 can't kill it. Yimo released a flying magic artifact and said it has nothing to do with us. He wouldn't even care about a level 10 immortal beast, much less a level 10 spirit beast. Wait Brother Yi, I think the one-eyed wolf we killed before might be related to the Wolf King, Liu Zhai said worriedly. One-eyed wolf? Yimo immediately thought of the wolf he killed. The fury in his heart immediately found a venting point. If it wasn't for that wolf, Wanqing wouldn't be lost in the snow plains. Now that there was a beast coming out to avenge the wolf, how can Yimo show mercy? Wait. Yimo said and disappeared. Yimo used a transmission and came to the valley he killed the wolf at a few days ago. The wolf pinned in the air was gone. You have some power, you actually took the body away. Yimo sneered and flashed back to Liu Zhai. The wolf I killed is taken away. It's probably by a high-level spirit beast in the depth. I didn't even go to them and they actually come to me. I'm going to go check, how about I send you out first? Yimo was going to annihilate this wolf family. Brother Yi, I'll go with you even though I can't help much. If you don't think I'm deadweight, Liu Zhai said. Yi Mo said okay, let's go see that roaring wolf king. Qian Bei, it's there, the border of the Tuo Mi plains. I saw a very high-level cultivation home. Even when I attacked the defense formation with full power, I couldn't open it. I suspect that the cultivation home showed because a stealth formation was broken. A brown-robed cauldron-filling state said to the two truth realization states behind him. He was full of bitterness. He found this cultivation home and realized he couldn't break open it, so he immediately sent a messenger flying sword wanting to ask for help. However, his message was seen by a truth realization state Qian Bei, and now, he had to lead the way for the truth realization state Qian Bei. Just lead the way. If what you're saying is true, I have good things to give you. The grey-robed truth realization state said expressionlessly. Yes, yes, the cauldron-filling state nodded shakily. Just when he said this, a powerful roar sounded. The cauldron-filling state's face changed and immediately stopped. The two truth realization states behind him also stopped. Soon, they saw two young truth realization state charging out. Their eyes were filled with anxiety. Dao friends, what happened? Why is the Wolf King out? The grey-robed truth realization state asked. Suddenly, there was huge space ripple. A 3-meter-tall dark-faced man stood before them. A few mere truth realization states dare to kill my wolf race. Die! The man waved out thousands of wind D-blades forming space bindings that bound the 5. The 4 truth realization state immediately released their defense magic artifact and their domain before breaking free and retreating. If it was outside, these truth realization states wouldn't have such low hand of the battle, but in here, the gravity was strong and the dark-faced man had the advantage. The cauldron-filling state was torn to pieces. You're the Wolf King of the Tuo Mi mountain ranges, you can't just attack without reason like this. The grey-robed cultivator said. So what? Can you deny that humans killed our wolf race? You guys are getting bolder and bolder. You dare to kill my wolf race? The man's force was very powerful. You're wrong. I killed that wolf. I never denied it. I just checked. Someone moved the body of the wolf I killed. That person is quite bold. Yi Mo's voice sounded. No wonder it was called Wolf King, it could morph into human form. The man saw Yi Mo bring a nascent soul cultivator over and immediately stared at him in shock. He didn't understand where Yi Mo got his confidence from. The 4 truth realization states stared at Yi Mo with uncertainty. They didn't understand why Yi Mo dared to mess with the dragon in the ocean. Hong Yuyi cursed Yi Mo for being an idiot but rejoiced that Yi Mo was going to die before she attacked. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2079 One Palm. Chapter 2079 One Palm. When the dark-faced man saw that he couldn't see through Yi Mo's cultivation level, he didn't speak any tough words and just sent out a messenger flying sword with a frown. Yi Mo didn't seem to see this and stared at the 2 older truth realization states. I set up a cultivation home next to the Tuo Mi border. Did one of you attack it and then call a partner over? Yi Mo's tone was calm, but there was extreme pressure. The truth realization states instantly felt that. Now, they realized why Yi Mo talked so carkily, and the dark-faced man sent a messenger flying sword. Dao friend set up the cultivation home? The grey-robed truth realization state asked in shock. Yi Mo sneered but said nothing. The 2 truth realization states didn't dare to say anything. Hong Yuyi was spoiled, but she wasn't dumb. She realized how far the gap between her and Yi Mo was. She just glanced at Liu Zhai. She didn't understand how this ordinary-looking woman was favored by Yi Mo. Brother Yi, this dark-faced man is probably the small wolf king. It said there are 2 wolf kings in the Tuo Mi mountain ranges. One is big, one is small. Both are very powerful. Liu Zhai's voice was quiet, but it didn't escape the man's ears. He sneered before she finished. Not bad, that's right, I'm the small wolf king. He then looked at Yi Mo. You killed One-Eyed and set up a formation making me unable to retrieve his body. I believe you're a powerful being, but I want to know why you killed One Eye. Although he was kicked out of the Wolf King Valley, his of Wolf King blood. If you don't have enough reason, this thing won't end here. The four truth realization states heard this and couldn't help feel annoyed. They asked why the man attacked, but he couldn't even be bothered replying. But now, this little Wolf King learned to reason. Yimo knew that even if the stone spears were forcefully removed, the one-eyed wolfed body would split apart. No one in the cultivation realm can take away the entire body, but he was annoyed someone took it. My friend was only golden core state, and yet she was chased to the edge of the snow plains 50 years ago and died in the snow plains. Do you think I will let this go after just killing an One Eye? Just as you said, this won't end here. Yimo's tone was bleak. Haha, 50 years ago, One-Eyed was level 6 peak stage. You're telling me that a level 6 peak stage spirit beast would hunt a golden core state and hunt all the way to the snow plains? Phut, the king shall see how you won't end this here today. The man was careful, but he had been respected for a long time. Even truth realization state cultivators didn't dare to speak to him loudly, and yet he was threatened by Yimo like this. How could he take it? 50 years ago, that one-eyed wolf chased me in Wanching. It wasn't very fast at the time. We used a speed rune and barely made it to the snow plains. Liu Zhai rebuked. Bullshit, the king. Before the man finished, Yimo waved his hand in the air and this dark-faced man was slapped out tens of teeth. Seeing this man sit on the ground with half of his face blooded and looking at him in terror, Yimo said coldly, calling yourself king in front of me? You're too young. Do you know why I haven't killed you yet? Because I heard there was a big wolf king of the Wolf King Valley. The dark-faced man stared at Yimo in shock. He was a level 10 wolf king. Even the strongest person on Shincheong continent can't slap him away in one palm like a fly. This difference was the difference between heaven and earth. The four truth realization states stared at Yimo in shock. What power was this? Hong Yuyi reacted first. Her eyes were shining with light. She had forgotten about how Yimo told her to piss off. She had made up her mind that no matter what she would get Yimo. At this moment, a messenger flying sword came. Just when the Wolf King wanted to grab it, he found that flying sword turn and fall into Yimo's hands. The Wolf King crawled up and looked dazedly at Yimo but didn't dare to talk nor run off. Yimo's palm made him wake up. He was certain that Yimo's power was much higher than truth realization state peak stage. His power was beyond the realm suppression of the cultivation realm. Yimo glanced at this flying sword and then gave it back to the Wolf King. Big Wolf King asked you to invite me to your home. Lead the way, my patience is limited. Yes, the Wolf King didn't dare to say an extra word. Yimo turned to Liu Zhai and said, I'm going to the wolf home. If you want to join a sect, go to Lotus Glory sect. I know Elder Guangjie from there. Tell her I let you go and tell her to take you in as disciple. After I'm done with things here, I will go to Lotus Glory sect. Liu Zhai suppressed her excitement and said, thank you brother Yi, Liu Zhai will go there first. After seeing Yimo's power, she immediately knew that with Yimo's power, no matter how unfamiliar he was with the place, there was no way he would suffer. After Yimo went into the depth with the Wolf King, the rest of the truth realization states came up to greet Liu Zhai, a nascent soul cultivator. They were even sucking up to her. Other cultivators didn't dare to use flying magic artifact in the Tuo Mi mountain ranges, but the Wolf King dared to. He was the Wolf King here. No high-level spirit beast would dare to raid him. The Wolf King flew the magic artifact extremely fast, probably because he was too scared of Yimo and wanted to bring the news back to the Wolf King Valley first, but no matter how fast he was, Yimo always followed behind him. What shocked him was that Yimo didn't use any flying magic artifact. He was just walking in air and still kept up with him. Half a day later, a green mountain valley appeared before Yimo. Seeing the Wolf King land, Yimo knew this was Wolf King Valley. Only such place would have this dense spirit kai. It was no lesser than his Moyu city. He set many spirit ranges below it. Qianbei, please go in. The Wolf King said respectfully. A path stretched into the quiet valley. The low-level spirit beasts on the side looked at the Wolf King just like how the Wolf King looked at Yimo. Yimo's spirit sense landed on the side of the valley. It was a natural formation and there was a defense formation nearing level 1 immortal formation. It was extremely hard to set up immortal formation in the cultivation realm as there was no immortal crystals. Even extreme grade spirit range can't support immortal formation. The Tuor-Mi mountain ranges wasn't big, but there clearly was reason why the Wolf King chose their home here. After crossing the Green Valley, Emo saw a patch of grand palaces. In the middle of these, there was a blue palace. "Is Puna back?" A voice sounded from the main palace. Yemo's spirit sense saw that it was a bulky man speaking too, but his hair was blue like the palace. "If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2080 New God R. Chapter 2080 New God R. You killed one eye. As soon as Yemo and Puna came in, a coarse voice sounded while a dark ray shot at Yemo. The dark-faced man was shook and quickly went up and stopped that dark ray while palming out. The dark ray was shot out by an incompletely morphed wolf beast. Wolf head and human body. He was palmed by Puna and immediately flipped a few times before smashing on the pole. "Puna, what are you doing?" the blue-haired man roared. "Young Wolf King, what are you doing?" The wolf beast also roared. Puna didn't seem to hear the two and said to Yemo respectfully, "Qian Bei, this is One Eye's father. If Qian Bei wants revenge, I can kill him immediately." "What did you say?" The blue-haired man got up in fury as blue shock eye surrounded him. He was the big Wolf King and Puna dared to ignore him and be this cocky. Yemo sneered. Did he think he would let them go like this? He didn't need Puna to do it. Just when he was about to kill the half-wolf half-human, Yemo's face suddenly changed and looked up at the sky. An extremely powerful Kai landed from the void. Yemo burned his essence Kai and used instant transmission without hesitation. Rumble. A huge palm landed and the entire Tuor-Mi mountain ranges was palmed a terrifying deep hole by this hand. All spirit beasts and cultivators within the range turned to dust. Liu Jia and them who just left were swept flying by that force and heavily injured. They didn't dare to stop at all. The Wolf King Valley at the forefront of this was completely annihilated. With this palm, volcanoes, floods and mountain slides erupted everywhere on Xinqiang continent. Countless mountains and sites crumbled due to this palm. Yemo was a Tao molding divine emperor. How could he not know that it was definitely a divine emperor who made this palm? It was probably a Tao nourishment divine emperor. This palm didn't even use 1% of instant second full power. At this moment, Yemo realized. Nothing in the cultivation realm can attract a divine emperor. The only thing that could was the branch of the chaos tree. When he gave the branch to Wanqing, he removed his Kai and this definitely let a powerful being notice. As for the chaos tree Kai, it wasn't rare for it to be sensed by divine emperor through a few realms. Lu Zhongquan sealed the chaos tree seed in a place in the cultivation realm and sent someone there to guard it and then sealed the entire cultivation realm fearing that the Kai would be spilled. Of course, this was with Kai Mi teaching him. Lu Zhongquan himself wouldn't be able to seal cultivation realm. After realizing this, Yemo kept using instant transmission. He knew that powerful being didn't use full power for that palm or the entire cultivation realm wouldn't be able to take it. He must not be sealed on this continent by that powerful being or Xinqiang continent was over. He was heavily injured but he was still a divine emperor. It would be strange if any piece of a cultivation realm could remain if two divine emperors fought in it. Yemo couldn't care about his wounds and kept using transmissions like crazy. Although he didn't have time to dedicate to recovery, his cultivation level recovered quickly with the help of the chaos tree. Yemo didn't even think and tore open the void of the continent and dashed out. He wanted to wait till his power recovered and find Meng Qi and visit Lotus Glory Sect and then find a way to go back to Luo Yu continent. But now, he couldn't care. He just dashed into the endless void. Yemo knew that although it seemed easy to tear open the void of the cultivation realm, but it wasn't that easy tearing the void from immortal realm to cultivation realm. He didn't understand how this Tao nourishment divine emperor came from the immortal realm to the cultivation realm. If it was that easy, he would have come down ages ago. After going into the void, Yimo immediately called out the chaos tree and purposely released its kai. Then, he put away the chaos tree and dashed away. As a cultivator, Yimo can also be very selfish when his interests were at stake, but he had his bottom line. He couldn't use the entire Shincheong continent as his shield. If that Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor couldn't find his kai, he might instantly crush the Shincheong continent and find his kai amongst there. He didn't need to worry about destroying the chaos tree. If it was that easily destroyed, it wouldn't be the #1 tree in the universe. It's not an ordinary truth realization state cultivator and he escaped from my palm? A white-faced man appeared at the Wolf King Valley rubbles and murmured. But after this he looked at the direction Yimo disappeared and murmured, interesting. You're not a cultivation realm cultivator and you can easily tear the void here. You want to draw me into the void? As you wish then. So what if you're already a divine emperor? I'll let you know what a true Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor is. A small immortal like you don't deserve the chaos tree. Then, the man just dashed into the void without needing to tear with his hands. At this moment, Shincheong continent was still crippling everywhere. The world laws were on the verge of breaking. A cultivation realm law couldn't withstand a Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor who didn't hold back his power at all. Once the realm laws broke here, the Shincheong continent would be on the verge of destruction and perhaps become a place like the god Necropolis domain. After the man disappeared, the world laws slowly recovered. When Yimo went into the void, he immediately released Spacetime Boat. After flying for 5 minutes, Yimo gave the Spacetime Boat to Shadowless and told him to run. He quickly went into the Golden Page world to recover. If he was fully recovered, how could he be scared of a Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor? Even if a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor came, he would let him have it. A grey-robed figure dashed into the void and just when he was about to grab Yimo, he saw Yimo release a flying magic artifact and instantly disappeared. Low-grade flying god artifact. The man was dazed and chased up. Half a day later, he could only follow the Spacetime Boat from a distance. The man cursed, just give me a flying immortal artifact and I would have caught you already. He was furious. He didn't have anything on him, not even a crystal. A month later, Yimo came out of the time formation disk. He felt he didn't recover that well in the time formation disk. It ran for a month but he only recovered half his injuries. Yimo knew this was because his power involved world laws. The time formation disk only had time law and could no longer satisfy him. Yimo asked Shadowless. Although they couldn't shake the Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor off, the Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor couldn't catch up to them. Yimo ignored that Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor and set up a spirit gathering formation with god crystals and sat on a god spirit range to recover. Time flew by. Without using the time formation disk, Yimo's injuries recovered extremely. Another month passed and Yimo had completely recovered. His cultivation level returned to Tao Molding Divine Emperor. He didn't completely wake up but he felt a new Tao law. It was Samsara law. It was obscure but had a framework in his mind. A life-crippling bridge formed in his will and below it was the life-crippling river. He recovered every step he took on the bridge. Each step seemed to represent his every life print. Just when he was about to be swept away by Yin Kai, he seemed to see his own samsara. This was the samsara he was about to enter into. Life-crippling, void, will, samsara. These things circulated around Yimo, forming a clear whirlpool. Yimo suddenly lifted his hand and released this whirlpool. It appeared as though time was flowing back in the Golden Page world. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2081 Battle Truth Divine Emperor. Chapter 2081 Battle Truth Divine Emperor. Font big, middle, small. Previous index. Next add bookmarks. However, before that Kai could completely explode, that feeling disappeared from Yimo. Yimo opened his eyes with dissatisfaction. He knew that he didn't have enough foundation and couldn't completely learn this time Samsara God art. He only learned less than half. It was due to his own cultivation level that he couldn't keep learning it. Who knew when he would have such enlightenment next time? Yimo dashed out of the golden page world and looked at Shadowless. Have I been in solitary cultivation for more than half a year? Boss, it's almost a year, but don't worry, even if we run for another year that guy wouldn't be able to catch up to us. Shadowless gloated. Yimo slapped over. My power has recovered. Do we need to run for another year? It's just a Tao nourishment Divine Emperor. I can even beat a Tao actualization Divine Emperor. Yes, it's that guy's misfortune that he chased after boss. Shadowless waved his tail. Boss, when are we going after that Hun Tianpan dragon fruit? I heard Small Ginseng say that thing is the best for making wine. Chiu Rang and Small Ginseng said it many times, so I had to come ask boss. Hey. After things here are done, we'll go. Yimo knew that Shadowless desperately wanted to increase his power. Yimo let Shadowless go into the golden page world and slowed the spacetime boat down. If it wasn't for the Chaos Tree, Truth Divine Emperor would have long stopped chasing. But thinking about the Chaos Tree, Truth Divine Emperor was on fire. He wasn't going to stop even if he chased for decades or a century. He had changed his mindset. He was in no rush to catch up to Yimo. He was going to get close to it slowly. After a year, he found that he was getting closer. If he continued at this pace, in just 10 years he could catch up. And he knew it might even be less than 10 years, as the spacetime boat probably burned a huge number of immortal crystals. Just when he set his mind, he found that the spacetime boat slowed. Truth Divine Emperor was confused for a moment and just rejoiced. He thought he would need to chase for a decade, but in just a year, that guy couldn't keep running. At this moment, he sped up. A huge planet appeared in Yimo's spirit sense, and he was planning to go there to battle. Regardless if this planet had life, Yimo stopped and stood on an asteroid that flew over. Half a minute later, Truth Divine Emperor appeared before Yimo. Ha ha ha. I finally caught up to you. Kid, give me the Chaos Tree. The Emperor shall give you a quick death. Truth Divine Emperor laughed. Yimo looked calmly at Truth Divine Emperor. We can discuss that later. Tell me how you came from the immortal realm to the cultivation realm. I used a lot of means to come from over there. It seems I overestimated you. I thought you were a divine emperor, but you're a mere immortal emperor. You can cross to the cultivation realm and not have your cultivation level restricted. That's very amazing. If I'm not wrong, you probably mastered a law. Truth Divine Emperor calmed down and praised Yimo. Yimo didn't answer. He was waiting for Truth Divine Emperor to answer him. Even an immortal emperor who mastered a law can't completely hide the chaos world unless you're the Chaos Tree's master, or you have a world with all 5 elements, or you have a chaos world. Truth Divine Emperor's eyes shot out with beam. Before Divine Tao rebirth, he had the best things amongst the divine emperors in the immortal realm, but even he didn't have chaos world. You talk a lot of useless shit. I asked how you came down from the immortal realm. Yimo really couldn't contain himself anymore. If it wasn't that he wanted to know how this divine emperor came down from the immortal realm, he would have attacked already. Immortal realm? Haha, Truth Divine Emperor laughed. For the immortal realm, I burned my life and immortal essence to kill that divine Tao powerful being who came, but the sly bunch in the immortal realm ambushed me. I should be grateful to them. If they didn't break the immortal realm barrier together, I wouldn't be able to charge out of the immortal realm with me essence spirit. Yimo immediately realized who this person was and asked, so you're Truth Divine Emperor, the number 1 divine emperor of the immortal realm? That's right, I'm Truth Divine Emperor. Truth Divine Emperor said pridefully. Yimo came from the immortal realm. It wasn't strange that Yimo knew his name. Then he glanced at Yimo. I'm amazed that a mere immortal emperor like you can come to the cultivation realm and ignore the world law suppression. If the world law couldn't suppress a powerful being, then the world law may cripple at any time. But if the suppression worked, then even the most powerful being would have to be suppressed in the cultivation realm. You body and essence spirit was destroyed, but you completely recovered? Yimo asked in shock. He was amazed that Truth Divine Emperor didn't lose any power after reviving. Truth Divine Emperor said coldly, if you think that the ghost spirit ships are my true soul, then stop. I was hunted by those sly bunch. Would I leave my essence spirit in the immortal realm? If it wasn't for the divine Tao realm powerful being battle, even if a few divine emperors attacked me, the immortal realm barrier might not be broken. I can only say that the heavens didn't want me to die. As soon as I rebirthed, I sensed my immortal carnage tower. After I take the chaos tree, I'll go back and defy my tower. You felt the immortal carnage tower in the immortal realm? Yimo was suddenly sweating cold. He had known from Su Jingwen that the tower was in Yimo's hands. If Truth Divine Emperor sensed it in the immortal realm, it meant that Yimo had ascended. If the Truth Divine Emperor wasn't drawn over by the chaos tree, then Yimo didn't dare to keep imagining. Hand it over, don't force me to attack, or you would've even get a chance to go into samsara. Truth Divine Emperor stared at Yimo. Yimo sighed. I was thinking about letting you live, but there's no need now. Die. You're asking to die. Truth Divine Emperor didn't expect he talked for so long, but this immortal emperor was just playing with him. He wasn't going to tolerate this and grabbed at Yimo with his hand. An immortal emperor was no different to an insect to him. But just when he lifted his hand, he felt this terror coming from his soul. A powerful murderous Kai broke his Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor domain and locked onto his soul and body. His body was reborn, but he couldn't find any way out of that powerful lethal force. Golden Bow of Divine Extermination. Truth Divine Emperor recognized it when he saw Yimo draw the bow at him. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2082 6 Arrows. Chapter 2082 6 Arrows. In that instant, Truth Divine Emperor didn't think about running away. He knew better than anyone the terror of the Golden Bow of Divine Extermination. It would be idiotic to run away in front of the Golden Bow of Divine Extermination. Truth Divine Emperor was shaking with cold, but he didn't think he lost. First, Yimo was just an immortal emperor. Even if an immortal emperor had the Golden Bow of Divine Extermination, he wouldn't be able to release most of instant second power. Second, it was uncertain how many arrows Yimo had. Truth Divine Emperor didn't speak and stretched his domain out like crazy. He was going to use his domain to crush Yimo's domain and then deal with the bone arrows. But soon Truth Divine Emperor found something was wrong. His domain clashed with Yimo's dun and it was like mud entering an ocean. Suddenly, Yimo's domain increased in power. The powerful charge from domain shaked his domain. Truth Divine Emperor was shocked. He knew clearly now that Yimo wasn't an immortal emperor but was a divine emperor who wasn't any weaker than him. A faint golden mark swiped across their domains and smashed towards Truth Divine Emperor. This area of void fell bleak and lifeless. A terrifying mark was left in the void by this arrow. Void wind blades flew out of the marks and hit their Divine Emperor domains before turning into nothing. Splurge, blood mist exploded. Truth Divine Emperor's arm that stopped the bone arrow was completely pulverized. Truth Divine Emperor used this opportunity to charge into the void fissure created by the golden bone arrow. Using his experience, he felt Yimo's cultivation level and knew that even without the golden bow of divine extermination, he might not be able to beat Yimo. He was already thinking about how to get away now. The void fissure created byta arrow was where he was going to flee. After Yimo vindicated Tao, he had been fighting in the God Necropolis domain. The God Necropolis domain space was very stable, and even if a Tao actualization Divine Emperor attacked with full power, it couldn't create void fissures. He didn't expect this many void fissures would be created in the cultivation realm void with one arrow. He didn't expect even more that Truth Divine Emperor would sacrifice an arm to flee. The instant Truth Divine Emperor fled, Yimo knew that he wasn't as experienced as Truth Divine Emperor, and he knew the terror of Truth Divine Emperor. His golden bone arrow was spirit controlled to the 99th level restriction, but Truth Divine Emperor could block one arrow with his arm. If Truth Divine Emperor gathered his magic artifact, then 6 arrows that weren't completely controlled really might not be able to kill him. One couldn't flee against the bone arrow, but after the first shot was made and the second arrow wasn't readied, you could escape to another realm if you were capable. These thoughts flashed in an instant, and Yimo grabbed his bone arrow and charged into the void. Truth Divine Emperor knew Yimo chased, but there was nothing he could do. He knew he was too careless. How could someone who got the Chaos Tree be simple? The reason Yimo fled before was probably because he was injured too. The only thing he could do now was keep tearing space before Yimo's golden bone arrow locked onto him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to escape even if he reached Tao actualization Divine Emperor. Plus, he didn't have any magic artifacts on him. Yimo didn't even release Spacetime Boat and just kept hunting Truth Divine Emperor. He wouldn't allow Truth Divine Emperor to escape or Yimo would be in danger. Truth Divine Emperor really wanted to know why Yimo hunted him this crazily. Even if he was scared that news of the Chaos Tree had spilled, Yimo shouldn't chase him. The news was already leaked. He was certain he wasn't the only one who sensed the Chaos Tree. There were void fissures, storms and wind blades between the voids, but Yimo and Truth Divine Emperor pretty much ignored these. It was like a tickle to them. When Yimo's golden bow of divine extermination locked onto Truth Divine Emperor had to stop again. 3 golden beams shot out. These 3 golden arrows didn't create void fissures again. Truth Divine Emperor knew that Yimo learned from his past mistake. Since Yimo could control the bone arrow to not damage the nearby void, Truth Divine Emperor knew that Yimo's power was subtly higher than his. He was very shocked and didn't understand things. He knew his cultivation level. Before Divine Tao Rebirth, he wouldn't dare to say he was invincible amongst peers, but after that, his body and power were many times stronger. Yet, Yimo was on par with him. Just what cultivation method was Yimo using? Someone slightly stronger than him and pointed the golden bow of divine extermination at him who had no defense magic artifacts. How could the Truth Divine Emperor not know he was in extreme danger today? Feeling the terrifying destruction Kai around him, Truth Divine Emperor roared and divine golden rings spread out from his body, forming ripples. As these ripples expanded, Truth Divine Emperor's face rapidly aged. He had to fight with his life now. The first arrow smashed on the ripple and the ripple instantly exploded. The destructive Kai of the first arrow was mitigated. Rumble, rumble. The second and third arrow struck the 2 later ripples which exploded at the same time. Destructive Kai expanded from the void. Before Truth Divine Emperor could breath, 2 more golden beams shot out. These 2 faint destructive Kais crossed the void instantly. Truth Divine Emperor was in despair as he stared at the golden ripple. How can you have 6 real golden bone arrows? There were only 5 remaining real arrows and each arrow needed some time to recover after being shot. Yimo shot out 6 arrows and their power was at peak. The 4th arrow blasted Truth Divine Emperor's last ripple and the 5th arrow struck onto his chest. Skin and bones were blasted to pieces. Truth Divine Emperor didn't have a single drop of blood on him. He burned all his life, essence blood, and even his essence spirit to block the first 4 arrows. But despite this, he couldn't escape his fate. He could never image that he had forbet in the void for countless years and even succeeded in cultivating the divine Tao Rebirth, but only ended up living a short year afterwards. He didn't even find a decent magic artifact in this year. Yimo felt his hands shaky. Even he couldn't take shooting 5 arrows in a row. Truth Divine Emperor was far stronger than he had imagined. He didn't have any magic artifact and didn't convert his immortal essence to god essence but blocked 5 of his arrows before being shot down. Yimo admired his grit, but Yimo knew he had to kill Truth Divine Emperor. Otherwise, Truth Divine Emperor would kill him. He had Truth Divine Emperor's time formation disc, bitter bamboo, and immortal carnage tower. Yimo threw the bow and arrow into the golden page world and rested on an asteroid. At the same time, he was thinking that if Truth Divine Emperor had all his magic artifact, he might not be able to kill Truth Divine Emperor. Yimo rested for a moment and found that he didn't know where he was at all. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2083, Ji-shi returns. Chapter 2083, Ji-shi returns. In the immortal goddess sacred sect, Ji-shi and the sect leader were sitting face to face. Ji-shi immediately asked her master why the saint was switched when she wasn't dead. "Master, you probably knew that my soul lamp wasn't out. Why did you appoint another saint?" "I'm back now. I hope Xiaoyun can go back to Lanyi Peak and I'll stay at Immortal Goddess Peak. Ji Shi said. No, you can only become saint again after 100 years. Ji Sini said without hesitation. Seeing Ji Shi dejected, Ji Sini sighed. Ruoshi, do you know why the great sun god mountain wants our saint? They want to sacrifice the saint to their mountain. The great sun god mountain has a Tao-seeking peak being. They're far stronger than our immortal goddess sacred sect. Great sun god mountain hasn't been able to relive their prime. If they use our saint to sacrifice to their mountain, the great sun god peak might reappear and their Tao essence divine emperor peak might be able to use this to break through to primordial essence divine emperor. Then why are we sending a saint there? Ji Shi asked in confusion. Ji Sini sighed because great sun god mountain is too powerful. They annihilated the Shu Yu divine Tao. If they weren't scared of Duanmu Yuebwa, they would have flipped the sect grounds upside down. After all these years, Duanmu Yuebwa didn't come back. I think they probably have nothing holding them back. Even if we didn't give them a saint, they can find an opportunity to cause trouble. If we agree, we can delay for 100 years, so you must not spread news of you coming back. Ji Shi fell silent for a long while. Since we're sending a saint, why do we have to choose Xiaoyun? This is so unfair for her. She had the least time in our sect. After knowing that Yi Mo was Mu Xiaoyun's husband, she planned to help Mu Xiaoyun. She felt that if she did, she wouldn't owe Yi Mo anything and then would be able to reach Tao actualization divine emperor in a short time. Plus, Xiaoyun has a husband. She's not suitable to be saint. Ji Shi hesitated and said. Ji Sini glanced at Ji Shi and said slowly, Ruoshi, do you think we're going to give Great Sun God Mountain a real saint for them to sacrifice? Ji Shi looked dazedly at her master, the sect leader who raised her up. She finally realized that although Xiaoyun was a sacrifice, she was also something that could prevent the Great Sun God Mountain from becoming divine. Xiaoyun was no longer a virgin. If she was sacrificed by the Great Sun God Mountain, how could the Great Sun God Mountain become a divine Tao mountain? Is locking up Martial Uncle Jilan to prevent her from stopping Xiaoyun going there? Ji Shi suddenly felt tired. The Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect was this famous in the divine Tao realm. It was a place everyone respected. It was scared and selflessness and the spiritual epitaph of the broken realm, but now, the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect was scheming a lonely woman. Was this looking at the bigger picture or being selfish? Seeing Ji Shi's look, Ji Sini said again, Ruoshi, our Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect saved Mu Xiaoyun's life. We're very grateful she can sacrifice for the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect. Perhaps we can leave her name in the future. Chilan is immersed in the past, so locking her up for now is for the good of her. One day, she will understand my hard work. Ji Shi let out a long sigh and suddenly made up her mind, Master, I hope we can find someone who's willing to be saint. Or perhaps I can do it. Regardless who it is, Xiaoyun can't be saint. Ji Sini frowned. You being saint is wasting the will of the entire sect and fulfilling Great Sun God Mountain. You attained huge fortune from the God Necropolis domain and reached a Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor in such a short time. I don't know what fortune you got, but this is a sign that the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect is about to rise. How can you be so emotional? How can you handle the great responsibilities ahead of you? As though feeling she was too heavy on her, Ji Sini eased up her tone and said, Xiaoyun has this ethereal temperament. Although she's no longer virgin, she has the kai of a saint. Another married woman wouldn't be able to be like saint. Xiaoyun has the best talent and a kai that other women don't have. Only she can be the saint without making Great Sun God Mountain suspicious. Ji Shi stood up and said, Master, I'm afraid that making Xiaoyun saint would eventually harm the Immortal Goddess Sacred Sect. Ji Sini looked at Ji Shi in confusion. Xiaoyun probably came from the immortal realm. Although ordinary divine emperors don't know the passage to the immortal realm, but we do. If you're not feeling safe, you can go with Martial Uncle Yunhui and go annihilate her sect. Martial Uncle Yunhui already went to the immortal realm? Ji Shi got up in shock. Just when Ji Sini wanted to talk, she saw Yunhui outside and quickly opened the restriction. Yunhui, come in, Ruoshi is back. It's great news that Saint Shi is back. Yunhui immediately said happily. Why are you here? Ji Sini looked at Yunhui in confusion. Yunhui also said in confusion, I'm very bewildered too. The place we found can definitely sense the immortal realm Kai, but this time, I couldn't find it at all. The immortal realm's Kai had been completely segregated. It seems someone has set up a formation to separate the immortal realm from the divine Tao realm. I'm planning to go check it again. Really? Jisini frowned. Even if the immortal realm people knew there was a tunnel to the divine Tao, Ria wouldn't be able to seal it. I suspect someone from this realm did it. I don't know the reason yet. Yunhui answered. Shi suddenly said, Master, we don't need to go to the immortal realm. I'm talking about Xiaoyun's husband. I saw him at the God Necropolis domain. What? You're saying Xiaoyun's husband went to the God Necropolis domain? Jisini suddenly got up. How could that be? The news she got was that Xiaoyun's husband was probably dead already or fighting in the cultivation realm. Shi nodded yes, he's called Yi Mo. I owe him a favor. It was due to him that I could cross the life-crippling bridge. You crossed the life-crippling bridge? Jisini and Yunhui both got up in shock. Crossing that bridge meant there was the chance to reach primordial essence divine emperor. This news was too shocking. Jisini thought she came back from the God Necropolis domain border. What was inside the life-crippling forbidden grounds? Jisini's tone was shaky. She shook her head. Just as I crossed it, I was devoured by a space fisher. When I came out, I found I was at the immortal goddess sacred sect. So that's it. Jisini sat down. Moments later she explained life-crippling bridge is also called Samsara Heart Bridge. The crevices at the end of the bridge pretty much is the border of Samara. If you didn't go into the Samsara river, those void fissures are called heartmark void. These heartmark voids would take the person where they want to go the most. You were able to return to the immortal goddess sacred sect accurately, probably because you were in the 9 Lotus stand. So that's it, she said. Jisini nodded. We'll talk about that later. Tell me about Xiaoyun's Tao partner. Shi's face went serious. She began talking about what Yi Mo, and when she finished, she said worriedly, Master, Yi Mo is the strongest immortal emperor I've seen. Of course, I'm certain he's not immortal emperor. I owe him, but most importantly, if he didn't die and the sect did something against Xiaoyun, our sect will. You're saying he chatted very well with that Gongyang and even became friends? Jisini frowned. Yes, Gongyang Qianbei indeed got along with Yi Mo. They're friends as equals. Shi said. Yunhui suddenly said, sect leader, that Yi Mo fell down the life-crippling river. No matter how powerful he is, he can't survive. That Gongyang only met him once and he's dead. I believe Gongyang probably wouldn't remember him. Plus, it's not even certain if Gongyang can come out of the God Necropolis domain. According to Shi, Yi Mo just killed a Tao molding divine emperor, so his power is probably at Tao nourishment divine emperor. But our immortal goddess sacred sect has Tao essence divine emperor. A mere Yi Mo is nothing. Master, I mean to give Xiaoyun's soul back to her. Shi agreed to Xiaoyun that she would get her soul back. Jisini shook her head. I can only give it back when she heads to the Great Sun God Mountain. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.